Alrighty, boys and girls, thank you so much for joining us again as we continue on our pre-show here of Season 5, Week 2 of ESL Pro League. I'm your host, Bach. With me is DeBears. Now, we've already talked a little bit about some things we've seen over the past week in regards to Pro League and DreamHack Masters, but we've got matches coming up tonight. We've got a few of them.
We have a couple.
We have a couple. Just
more than
one
a couple.
Or two. One or two.
You know.
Now you can see the schedule. It's Liquid versus NRG, and it's CLG versus Luminosity in the later bracket. Now, one of those teams, I'm told you're a little bit familiar about. I'm not sure what the correlation is.
I was a coach of CLG Red, but now I'm not. So, free agent right here. But point being, I like CLG. I think that their CS team is getting better, even though they had a couple roster changes. They've been playing a lot, they've been practicing a lot, and I'm always a big fan of hard work and determination.
I mean, they're getting back to a point where they once were. We're seeing CLG bring in young talent, and then the young talent is being phased out for the players that were once on the roster many moons ago. So FNS comes back. Hayes was cut. Now he's coming back.
As a temporary, as a permanent, we don't know. Temporary. I mean, they say temporary. Who knows? Maybe down the line it works so well they might keep him.
It's like when you end up hanging out with an ex as friends, and then things come back. That doesn't happen to you.
Well, you know what? I think that's another story for another time. But as for the roster for CLG, they got Cutler, they have Nadi, they have Kusta, Hayes, and FNS. And I want to see Kusta with it up. Like as I tell him, every time I see Kusta, every single time I see him, I'm like, hey, bring that op out, man.
I mean,
bring it op out.
He made his name with his op.
Yeah, he should be the top 3 oppers in America. Sorry, I keep doing it. He needs to be one of the top 3 oppers in America. I believe in that. He just needs to do it. He needs to believe in himself. It can't just be me or you. It has to be himself to believe in it.
Strong words. Speaking of another strong opper playing in North America, though, we've got one on Luminosity, and we'll pull up their roster here so you can get an idea of these players. It's Destiny, PKL, or Pickle, his adorable little nickname from Week 1 of Pro League. I think we're just going to stick with it. Yell, SHZ, and Showtime. Now, PKL, he looked pretty good, but Yell's the man I'm watching. Yell is the opper for Luminosity. Fantastic player, big-time playmaker. Kind of what you would expect to see from a Brazilian opper. Like, he's pulling the team out of rounds that maybe they didn't deserve to win.
But you have to have a couple of those,
Yeah, well, they have a lot of them already. We've got Coldzera, Fallen, Henny, and now Yell as well. And I'm sure there's others we haven't even uncovered yet.
There's a lot of talent down in South America that's reaching. They just want to come out. They want to earn money. They want to play at a high level. And, if you're good enough, then, more power to you. And I'm interested in Yell, too, especially Luminosity. They're a very, at least in my opinion, they're very an aggressive CT team. I don't know if you have any.
Yeah, I mean, we watched them play throughout all of Mountain Dew League last season. They didn't actually qualify for the LAN, which was a bit surprising.
Yeah.
They were the top team pretty much. The only contention was TSM, who looked very puggy, whereas Luminosity was a little bit more strict at times. They still went that way once they realized the game was over. Like, when you're up 10-2, you're not exactly going deep into your playbook.
Yeah.
You're sort of just trying to get the game over with fast so you can focus on other things. So Luminosity looked really good in the regular season, but then they fell in the postseason. I think they just got a little too overconfident, and then, the bigger you are, the harder you fall.
Didn't they also have, like, a roster change? Like, was that before last season? Because I remember Knack, I think, was on the team.
Knack and Bit were on the team.
How long ago was that?
That was before last season.
That was before last season?
I'm not 100% certain if that happened in the season. I'd have to look it up. It might have happened like right off the start, because I think we might have seen games where they played with Knack and Bit before they brought in, I think it was SHZ and Destiny that joined the roster.
Okay.
But, in general, Luminosity looked really good in Mountain Dew League, and they're a testament to the whole idea of the Mountain Dew League, playing up from the lower levels and giving yourself a shot at the Pro League.
Yeah. I mean, it's good. I mean, anyone can make it. If they can do it, you put hard work, you put practice, maybe your team will become a pro team. You never know. You can't doubt yourself. You can't put on a pedestal.
Yeah.
You have to work for it. You got to take it one day at a time.
Now, that's just match 2. We've got another match earlier in the day. That's our first one. That's Team Liquid versus NRG. So a bit more of a North American match. 2 teams. One used to be sort of international, and so was the other to a certain aspect, and still is 1/5. But we'll go ahead and pull up Team Liquid's roster here so you guys can see how things are stacking up, because they too have made a change. They brought in Stanislaw to take over the in-game leadership position, which was a position they basically didn't have filled.
They needed. Over the past I guess last season they were just running through in-game leaders to see who can actually do it. Eventually, no one could, so they got rid of Hiko for Stanislav, and hopefully that would be pretty good for them. So far, it's paid off really well.
Yeah, I mean, the in-game leadership position, it was kind of like IGL hot potato. Like they were just throwing it around to everyone on the team. It never really felt like it ever worked. They brought in a coach, didn't work. They brought in another coach, and now they've actually gotten a strong in-game leader in Stanislav. And clearly it's had an effect, because we watched them in week 1. They looked really good, especially on cash.
Yes.
I'm sure you have some takeaways from their cash performances.
Yeah, I do. One thing that I noticed is that on their cash side, they have a lot of mix-ups to where they're playing passively, they're playing aggressively, they're playing aggressive middle, they're playing kind of like a passive, and like they're just mixing up a lot. Their adjustments are really nice. I think that's one thing that maybe Stanislav has brought to the team, is that they are fast to adjust, and I think you will see that a lot, especially on cash, to where on their CT side they're almost all over the place in a way, to where they're mixing up the up. You see Nitro pushing in a main or something like that, and or you know, just a lot of other kind of setups that, you know, it'd be nice to see.
I mean, like you said, they now have the ability to mix things up a bit. In general, the team of old that was struggling to break past that 14th round force field, one of their problems was they never really found an alternative to just close the game out. Now that you have an in-game leader, you can kind of slow things down and be like, all right, obviously what we're doing isn't working. So let's try and find something. He might have a deeper playbook where he can tap into that, and then, you know, Liquid will be able to push over that line finally.
I think he will help them a lot in that sense. But one of the things that they're losing, I think, was more of a mental game, and hopefully that having a deeper playbook will like clear up some of their mind to where they're not overthinking things too much. You know, they're not playing scared, like, oh, we're up 15-10, let's play safe. You know, like, you have to get that out of your mind. You got to play to win, and hopefully Stanislav will bring that confidence to the entire team. You know, it is a team game. You can't knock down Hiko for that much, because it is a team game in the long run.
Now, the maps are Cash and Cobble. NRG, you know, they've got a tall task in front of them. Do you give them any credit here, or you think this is a quick 2-0 for Liquid?
I mean, I think on Cobble it might be a little close. But I believe that Team Liquid will win 2-0 just because of experience, and, you know, even if they're on like strat-wise, Elige or someone else will just step up and headshot some people.
Now, that NRG roster we were speaking of, we'll pull up the graphic here real quick so you can get an idea of who's on the team, because it's much different than the team we saw before. Daps, PTR, Fugly, Marquee, and Breeze. Daps, kind of the in-game leader, PTR, the op, Marquee and Breeze, pretty strong riflers, and then Fugly has played on various teams at a pro level. Do you think that this team has what it takes to beat a team like Liquid?
Well, I mean, on paper, you have to say no, because they're just random people from other teams all together in one. But again, you can't knock them. You can't just say no. Like they can't win because they put in hard work, they put in practice, they watch Team Liquid demos or whatever, and just kind of notice that, hey, you know, Elige likes to push a lot here or something like that. They can win. Like, anyone can win. We're playing at a level to where all these players are really skilled. It just comes down to execution, making less mistakes. And if NRG with the new team can make less mistakes, you know, not over peak and using their pop flashes for each other like they did in Cobble, I mean, I think the game could be close, but Team Liquid obviously has that edge over them.
Yeah, I mean, you know, just looking at the two teams stacking up on paper, pound for pound, and dollars to donuts, you've got, yeah, donuts.
Like donuts.
Maybe there's donuts here, I don't know.
No.
But looking at just the talent on each team, you've definitely got names you recognize on NRG. You've got players who have experience. But as a core, like as a group of 5 players, everything on NRG feels a bit disconnected.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel as congruent. Like everything, like there's a bit of synergy with Liquid. I don't think you get that with NRG so much, at least not this early on. Yeah,
a new roster, it takes time. Like, you just have to play and grind it out and build this chemistry. So it's not something that, it very rarely happens like overnight, you know. That's just like once in a while thing where teams can come, like SK, who or Old Luminosity, when they pick up Taco and after Nax, they just hit right off and got to a finals. Like, literally the next tournament, they've had some previous work together in the past, but, you know, the point being is it's very rare to just hop off and do well and have timing great, having everything good. So it's going to take a lot of practice and teamwork, and hopefully we could see improvement throughout the weeks for NRG. But, you know, I have faith in Peter. I mean, he's been around for a long time, right? Like, I want to see him, you know, break the mold. Like Peter, you know, he could be the next opper. Like, he has a potential. He has a good op. But, you know, is he going to bring it every single game?
Now, looking at that footage of Liquid in that first week on Cash, one of the most surprising things for me was not the way they necessarily played as a team. It was also the individual players stepping up big. And one of those was Stanislaw. Like, Stan really stepped up big, which kind of surprised me a little bit. I did not expect to see him. I think he topped the frag chart that game. He hit like 30 kills. He's not a weak player in any sense of the word. But when you're looking at the other players, you're expecting like, oh, that's going to be a guy like Elige, who's been on an absolute tear. He's on a ridiculous form in the last few months. But it turned out to be him who came out swinging for Liquid on Cash.
It's pretty good to not always have to rely on one person to have all the kills. And you look like a leader like IGL, like Stanislav, who's able to get frags as well as call the in-game is very rare and very valuable. And so what you saw in that last replay was, as I talked about, as adjustments. A couple rounds earlier, they got smashed by Misfits when they're playing a person sandbags and white box and Z. So what they did that round to their micro adjustments, instead of playing far back, they played above the smokes or beyond the smokes. So as you saw, Stanislav pushed up, and it caught off Sean Gares, who was surfing his wave all the way over there. He did not check his back, and he gets 2 kills. Elige gets a kill, and it's an easy 3-0. Just off the start, you're on a 5-on-2. It's a pretty big plus.
Yeah, I mean, in general, it just seemed like throughout the entirety of that match against Misfits, Liquid had their strats dialed in. The few rounds that we saw Misfits get were not exactly super clean, and it was almost immediately countered out by something that Liquid would do. So it was like that quick change, like you're talking about, you know, Stanislaw, you know, making a call quickly to adapt on the play live, not being like, okay, well, we'll see if they do that again, then we'll make a change to our setup. Let's do it right now and fix the problem immediately. And it obviously worked, but he definitely defeats the age-old adage of, well, he's the in-game leader, that's why his stats are not so good. Obviously, it didn't seem to affect him too much.
I mean, if you have a good system to where he does not have to think for all the players, that's literally the best system to have, to where he can kind of guide them, but it's up to them for the timings to peak, to use their talking and communication to really, like, I'm going to peak here, pop left for myself. Like, if you have a system, which it looks like Stanislav does have, you don't have to rely on just really controlling everybody, because it takes a lot of mental energy to control everybody and try to out-frag a person to that high level of caliber. And so it's rare, but if you have a pretty good system, I think you don't have to be that in-game leader that bottom frags all the time.
So just to get a rehash, prediction on Cash. You think Liquid's taking it?
Liquid is definitely taking Cash. As for Cobblestone, I think it'd be close, but I still think Liquid will win 2-0.
All right, well, we've got our casters standing by, and I believe the players are almost readied up. So, Blazed, go ahead and take it away.
All right, yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, we're getting pretty hyped to jump into this game, but before we do that, guys, we are going to send things over to a short break really quickly. Be sure to stick around, and as soon as the game is prepared to start, we are going to get you guys into it. So stick around for more right here at the ESL Pro League.
ESL Pro League is brought to you in part by Logitech G, Pay Safeguard, Mountain Dew League, and ESEA.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. It is officially time now for week 2 here of the ESL Pro League. Getting ready to jump into our first match. It's going to be Team Liquid versus NRG, and we are going to be starting off here on Cash with our second map being Cobblestone. Now, this is our first time seeing NRG here on the mainstream days. So what are your initial thoughts on this team as a whole, since we haven't really seen them play in a real big event yet?
Well, I'm excited to see what Daps is going to do with, up-and-coming talents like Marky and Breeze. We'll see how he's going to control them and fit them into a system and see how well they could play at this, professional level. You also have Fugly, who's always been very, very solid. But we are seeing Cash, and we're seeing a really tough opponent that they're going to go up against in Liquid. Now, with Liquid, I believe Zeus is going to play for Pimp, if I'm not mistaken.
That's what Twitter was saying anyway.
Yes, that is what was said on the Twitter. So I actually don't think that's a loss at all, as you see Zeus is in the server, pre-gaming a bit. Just because Pimp has been playing with about 150 ping, from Denmark, and I think he still is in Denmark. So, if you look at their last match stats, actually, all of them had like 0.8 to 0.9 FPR besides Pimp. Pimp had like 40 DAR, which is completely understandable. When you have 150 ping, it's pretty tough to play Counter-Strike, right? But they all stepped up, and now you're getting Zeus, who, is going to be like, he's pretty much going to do solid as an individual, and a lot of that's going to come off like him using things like Mag 7s and things of that nature. So I don't think they're going to lose much there. So I still expect Liquid to come out and show, and build upon what they showed in the first 2 weeks, and really play that solid type of Counter-Strike that we have seen from them. So, now that Stanislaw is in this team, I'm just seeing like, I know we've only seen them play on Cash and Cobble, but I've seen their map pool is probably going to grow. Stan's very good on a map like Train, a map like Overpass. And before, Liquid's map pool was like so limited, right? If they didn't get like a Dust 2 and a Cash, it was so difficult for them to win against a best of 3, against any team, really. That was, even tier 2. So now we're going to see their map pool grow. They'll be a lot better on those maps, and I think we're going to see like just a huge emergence from this Liquid squad.
All right, well, it does look like, guys, the pistol round is getting live, so let's jump directly into it here now. NRG versus Team Liquid, with NRG starting off on the team side. Interesting note on Zeus. I believe the last time we actually saw him play in an official match was during his tenure with the Immortals. That would have been at the last ESL Pro League finals before he ended up moving to the coaching role here on Team Liquid now. So it has been some time, but if we go back to specifically the online portion in his tenure with the Immortals, he actually statistically, if I remember correctly, was one of the better players in the team during online play. So hopefully he's going to be able to translate directly back into it to these matches. But as we take a look at the opening push from NRG, it's a lot of early mid control, and they are able to get it pretty much for free. In fact, Daps rolls in, grabs the headshot against Stan, and they've got control here right from the get-go, and there's 3 more waiting to explode outside of that squeaky door there if they should feel the need. There's Nitro able to hold for 1 kill as he gets aggressive, but immediately 2 more kills traded out by Marky and Peter. It's down to a 4v2 with the CTs having the lesser of that. One of them stuck right now in Z. That's going to be Zeus himself. They can't do anything, and Daps with a swing-out kill destroys a Liege, and Zeus almost doesn't have a hope in the world now. He's going to have to try and see if he can position himself for an exit of some kind, but beyond that, this round is over, and it is going to be NRG that take the lead on this map. Yeah, and that was interesting that they gave Daps the P250 that Fugly dropped to him. So Daps had P250 and armor, able to make it work, but usually don't think of Daps as, the greatest fragger or anything. So usually you try to drop a pistol to one of your better fraggers. I would expect it to go on like Marky or Breeze, as Zeus just tries to save his kit and flashbang. But Daps makes really good work with it, and we'll see if his role is going to be changing a bit, now that he's playing with NRG and not those optic guys. Yeah, and Zeus manages to make it into the next round, so they do have the extra kit along the utility. Nothing huge, but at the very least, should they somehow pull off the Eco Force here successfully and manage to try to tie this up 1v1, they'll have that little bit of extra time now going into the retake itself. But we get directly into it here, and again, NRG with your pretty usual investment. 3 SMGs, the AK sitting on Daps, and the Mac 10 as well, going over there towards Fugly, and once again, very quickly inside of A main this time as well. Also fast up mid. They did this in the last round too. It's Daps that leads the charge once more. Obviously a little bit more cautious this time, since the CTs have a little bit more freedom of movement on those pistols there. They could swing out and make life just a little bit more difficult for these Ts. So we'll see the pace taking a bit of a back seat this time, as they just try to knock out 1 or 2 players before they eventually go for the execute. But we can already see the smoke going over top. Beautiful one that should land right over there inside of the highway position, I believe. And there's a lot of concentration on mid from the CTs right now, so it's actually going to restrict quite a bit as they do try to turn and focus their attention there. But meanwhile, on the A side itself, they've got a little bit of a boost up here here with Nitro. He can just barely see the heads when they're sitting in the back there, but it doesn't end up working out. Marky destroys Nitro. Now it's just Zeus sitting on the site. More reinforcements have arrived, but they're getting pummeled as well. Zeus and Stanislaw both go down, and again, it's just JDM who's going to be taken down right here on Highway and allow for NRG to get the easy second round.
Yeah, and that was really, really nice and a well-thought-out anti-eco by the NRG guys. So they get somebody on boost. It was Daps in that case. He's making sure he's not going to die, but he's going to cause a lot of attention to be seen by him. And then he throws a smoke that actually blocks off the truck. Or actually, that might have been one of their smokes. I'm not sure if he smoked that highway smoke or the truck smoke, but he's able to just, you know, bring a lot of attention towards middle as they triple nade stack mid right now. Breeze gets out basically untouched, unscathed. 4 nades come his way. He gets out middle with still like 80 health. Now he's down to 2 because of the USPs. Pulls out the molly, smokes it out, or you know, molly's highway, tries to stay alive. But going back to that anti-eco, he gets that attention in middle, then they do a molly A take. So it's different than going straight into the molly A take, you know. And I think that was very well thought out.
So now NRG again get that early mid control. This time though, they're going to use it more than likely to send their players into the B-bomb side. We can see Fugly already kind of investigating as Team Liquid held back again. They had that heavy presence at mid early on, but now in an attempt to switch it, they have kind of already lost control of B. They have one player sitting in heaven, but he really will not be able to do all that much unless he does catch someone crossing through the generator jump up there, which he doesn't. So on the attempt to peek, and he's been spotted now as the duck way down at 27 HP. Daps in the meantime is still waiting here in mid, although they account for that one, so he's got a bit of a duel to work on right now. Players all around. He's actually not going to take down any of them at all. Peter, though, nicely done. Gets that kill, switches over to the Glock, stays alive, and then racks up 2 more at the end of it. He ends up with a 4K on the round, and NRG do end up starting off 3-0, only taking 1 loss on these second 2 rounds here.
Yeah, ends with the 4K and also picks back up the AK, so they really didn't lose anything that round. And now we'll see if they keep the SMGs. It looks like they're not going to. It looks like they're you know, I think they're going to keep 1. Nope, not even 1. So they have 4 AKs and an AWP, fully bought round, and Liquid, you know, kind of recognize that they're not doing that. A lot of the time what happens is they keep the SMGs and the CTs don't even buy head armor, and it can be very, very dangerous. So now JDM on his AWP at middle, they're in a very, very standard 2-1-2 setup right now. We have Nitro and Alish holding A. They do a really good job at A. They like to take a lot of A main control, which we're not seeing this round, but they put a lot of pressure there. They like to take control a lot for this Liquid team. They throw a very odd smoke, right? This one doesn't go deep at all into the A main. I think it might have been like a botched one, or maybe they threw the Molotov right away to stop the smoke or something like that. But a default coming out from NRG, very standard setup coming out from Liquid to start this 4th round.
And much slower paced. We've seen them going for very, very fast boost ups across into mid in the past couple of rounds as well to assert control here early on, but this time it's not the case. They've held back. They still have players in position to try and go for that boost should they decide to move in towards it, but right now keeping themselves in a very, very standard setup here, even still having Fugly to watch out for a B-Hall's push right now. It's Nitro playing point on what will more than likely become the direction of the hit though over here towards the A-bomb site. A bit unlucky with the flashbang, it ends up going directly into his face. They're up from A-main, but thankfully there's not going to be any follow-up from the NRG side on that one. They're still just camping in A-main, and while JDM's ready, if these guys do decide to roll back out, smokes and whatnot being deployed, the flashbang connects first, and well, JDM's going to fire off a little bit too early here, and as the second smoke comes in, he does have to fall back to the quad corner and play to keep himself alive rather than defend the site. Still though, Nitro has not been challenged. We're down to 25 seconds, but it's all a ruse as we see the bomb shifting over towards the B-bomb site. There is a rotation heading back towards mid. Zeus was positioned up in heaven, but now he's more towards Z, so you really only have Stanislaw here currently that can defend the site. If he can waste a couple of seconds though, he may be able to hold this back off and buys time indeed for Zeus to get up there, but he's instantly destroyed. 3 kills back to back to back, including 1 over on the A-bomb site as Breezy stuck around, was able to execute 1 from Squeaky. Fugly just sends Alish down the steps there to knock out another one, and for JDM, again, there's not really going to be much hope here. He's got to try to save that up, but more than likely, it will be NRG taking up the 4th round here as they continue to push forward.
Yeah, JDM going to look to save, but he's getting pinched from all directions. 1 highway, 1 more push from B. There was 1 A main, so he's lucky to even get 1 there. But, you know, NRG playing with fire on the clock. If 1 kill happens there at B and they lose the bomb or something like that, that round could definitely be very, very different. I think the general idea was pretty good by them, but I think, you know, more often than not, that's actually not going to be as successful as we saw right there. If they did it, you know, 10, 15 seconds earlier, I think they have a good chance of winning that round a lot more, you know, safely than that happening. Because if just 1 thing goes wrong there, you know, everything's over.
So a mid-stack this time from Team Liquid. And the guys from NRG once again holding back. Fugly may have himself an interesting time in a second here if they do decide to push through that smoke. They're all sitting on the edge right now. No utility behind it, so they're just going to walk right into it. There's one for Fugly, but he quickly backs down, goes in for the spray. When he does, hear them shuffling across the red box. This is where it gets tough, though. He does get a second one, but then the trades roll in from Liquid. Nitro and Elise grabbing two. Peter with a miss there. He does end up legging Nitro or hitting him through the wall or something because he's down at 17 HP. But regardless, they get control of mid, and that includes the bomb for right now. So it's an even battle. And not only this, too, but there's someone sitting up on boost. Breezy reads it, though. He's able to respond, and he still got the flashbang inside of the garage. So he chains it into the second kill. But now it's down to Nitro to see what kind of damage he can do. They've retrieved the bomb. They're running away to the site. And Nitro will just peek into Peter there as he picks up yet another kill.
Yeah, not a bad eco for how much they spent, though. Pretty interesting job by them. I mean, that's not something you generally see. Just a 5-man mid push like that, and it really could have went the way of Liquid. I think if Elige gets that kill onto Breeze, we'd probably have a Liquid round 1. Having said that, though, we have a fully bought round by Liquid, as everything they need to win this round. But NRG up to a quick 5-0 lead, has a nice economy built, winning the first gun round with 4 alive. So looks like JDM's trying to get aggressive into the door. Doesn't really, get too deep into there because of a nice flash, I think, that happened. And now NRG is adjusting. They have 2 guys there, so we'll see if this push will work out for JDM.
It's a big stack inside of A main from NRG, and there's still 1 stacked over in mid. Elige will have to rotate very quickly into this, and 2 more fully committed to the B-bomb side as well. So the defenses overall in A are very weak right now. In fact, Breeze is already taking a Nitro. JDM's hoping he can grab the kill here. Unfortunately, he was just spot on the cross, though, so Fugly's going to hold back. And we do see Elige, however, rolling back in here on the rotate to be able to trade out one. JDM, unfortunately, however, is kind of stuck in this hallway right now, so Elige has to move in to try and bail him out a little bit. Molotov's going in to try and deny more control, and it's sort of working. The guys from NRG actually really not wanting to wander outside of A main. They still have time to play with, so if they want to change this up, they can. It looks like they do decide to kind of back out of this situation here, for the time being at least, and allow the guys from Liquid to hold control here.
Yeah, Liquid's very, very disciplined on this B side. None of them push or anything for Sunroom, and that means Zeus is actually rotating to A, but he's kind of taking a little bit of a gamble here. NRG just waiting. They're playing so slowly, just seeing if Liquid will make any type of mistake.
Unfortunately, they're remaining in that position, and they've now, well, for a moment there, it looked like they were going to move Zeus over, but now he's gone back. What they've realized with the bomb is JDM with 2, trying to go for a third. Marky ends up killing Fugly in the process there, and some movement gets jumbled up, so now it's down to Marky alone with only 10 seconds left on the clock here. He's going to try to push in and see what kind of damage he could do, but Elige from Quad finishes the job, and now Team Liquid finally on the board. 5-1 will be the scoreline, and that's also going to be the first death for Peter in this entire match so far, currently sitting at 9-1.
Yeah, his first death, and again, NRG just goes so slow. There's actually a lot more that could have went wrong that round than actually did. Whenever something like that happens, if one of the B players, for instance, pushes to Sunroom or something like that, and just sits there and holds, then you have 3 over at that A site, it's going to be really tough to take, as we see Liquid again going to take A main control. They love doing this.
And as they move in, they already racked up 2 kills. Marky's only been able to trade 1. The bomb has gone down. All of a sudden, though, they fail to account for Fugly trying to wrap his way over on the backside of this one. He moves in, takes out JDM. Still in a 1v2, though, so this is going to be tough for him to try and clutch out, especially not accounting for the player back over there with the forklift. He almost loses his life right then and there. A nade will go in. Looked like it was close to him, but only does about 20 damage overall. Now trying to still take control of this one. It's very, very tough to read where Stan has moved in towards. With a minute and 15 left on the clock, he goes back in A main. And for right now, he's going to just hide in there, not moving back to shift it towards B yet, and also not recommitting himself in the other direction. He has plenty of time to burn, so he can definitely afford to do this right now.
Yeah, and immediately Stan actually gets to the A site, he peeks a little bit, and now he has position in A. He could just sit in front of the door or go inside it like he just did. And this in my mind is probably going to secure the round, because even if Fugly does plant at A, he's just going to probably just go and backstab him really easily. Fugly taking his time once again, and that A main control really worked out well for Liquid. JDM getting 3 nice kills, Nitro getting 1, doing like 90 to another, and then dying, and putting his team in. It was actually a 4v1. But then Fugly was able to get 2.
Yep, so now Fugly is going to see if he can sneak his way back into the site. Stan won't be able to immediately catch him here, as he's committed way over there to the backside of the squeaky hallway. So he's got himself access to the site. He's got to be careful against Zeus. Zeus is wandering, and he misses his chance to get a free kill. Zeus is watching Forklift at the time, and now he's going to go over this plant, but out will come Stanislaw to finish the job. The plant will be denied, and it'll be overall a fairly dominant one for Team Liquid.
Yeah, very well thought out by Stan there. Going into that door, I'm telling you, I really do think it secures the round as JDM and Nitro get a nice A-main, you know, push there. Fugly backstabs from the door, you know, and was able to get 2 and make it into a manageable round, hurt their economy a bit. But now Liquid, if they can win this one, they might force NRG into a half buy, but it's still an uphill climb.
So now again, they just go into the default split. This didn't work out well for them last time with how slowly they tended to play it, but they have to watch out now. The Team Liquid's getting a lot more aggressive with their control.
I really like this by PTR though, because Elige loves to go on that white box and peek towards highway. So this could just be like a free kill for him and punish Elige. He really likes playing highway pretty aggressively and peeks the boost more than most other players probably do. I believe it's JDM there right now, so it's not going to be seen, and they're actually going to give up mid control very, very early on. But I think that's something that you could do almost every single round against Liquid, and just one of the times, like, you're going to get a freebie. You know, you just are, because of how aggressive Elige does like to play it.
Well, we still have NRG holding back now as they round out to the minute mark here. The majority of their players hinting this into an A play, but with them now shifting over to the B halls, it could still be heading in the other direction as they put Marky up on the boost, prepared to move in for control here, but also more players from Team Liquid have shifted over towards B themselves. They only have Nitro playing on A, so they're full retake over on that site, and instead focusing the defenses here on the B site itself. Only 2 in the actual site. They have, looks like 2 in Z right now, waiting to defend mid, and that's going to end up working out great. I think they boosted up on top of each other, and Elige is going to be able to find Marky off of that one. And so now Breeze is going to try to shift in towards B, but look, everybody else from mid is now rotating here too, so they're running into a trap right now. Molotovs are good, but JDM doesn't carry. Swings out, gets one. Zeus finds the second. They've still got heaven pressure as well, along with the tree room. There is no way into this bomb site, and there is certainly no time left for them to be able to rotate back in. Daps immediately gets destroyed as soon as he crosses the threshold. Peter looking for a trade. At least he'll get it, but I don't think he's going to be able to... Oh, scratch that. He's going to be able to pick up a second, but ultimately, again, Liquid read that perfectly, and we're able to rotate and pretty much make that take impossible.
And this is one of the things that I'm so impressed with Liquid by. Do you see that mid-round adaptation? They end up with 3 at A. They say, hey, you know what? I don't think they're going to play. They're going to hit A. They've shown 0 presence here. They've lost the last 2 rounds over at A. Let's go ahead and just go into a retake. They double boost in Z after the Z smoke comes to try to get NRG's mid control. How often do you see that? A mid-round boost into Z. It almost never happens. Completely catches, I think it might have been Daps there at the boost. I'm not 100% sure. So he gets a freebie there. And, you know, just stacks onto B and not being afraid to take those chances. And that's one of the things that's so impressive about Liquid, you know, making this switch to Stanislaw.
NRG trying to go for fast control in mid here with a lot more players than we've usually seen. It's usually just Marky going over the boost, but this time they send 3. One's been destroyed. Peter's down at 6 HP, although he did catch a trade against Elige. And now Breezy has control up the highway at the very least with an AK in hand. But beyond this, really nothing else. And again, you have to keep in mind that that AK is really the only big gun they have. They know for sure it's not going to be a B play anytime soon, since Stanislaw is pushed all the way through the halls and is wrapping around towards T-spawn. So they can put a lot of their players in mid, and as a watchdog to make sure they don't push into the other 2 areas they don't have secured right now. Nitro again waits for it. He catches the jump out, but it's only a leg against Daps. Brings him down to 17 HP. He spots Breezy too, but he's got the E-Box to support him. Thankfully, Nitro corrects his kill on the second peek. JDM's also going to pick up a second one there, and he's got Daps down low already. Nitro moves in with the AK to finish things off, grabs the first kill, realizes where the realizes where the last player is, and Zeus is going to finish the job.
Yep, so now Liquid has that double op set up. We'll see how NRG, you know, adapts their playstyle, because they know that. They saw Nitro and JDM both have ops right now. And if you're Daps, you definitely look at that and try to, you know, develop some type of strategy to counter that, whether it be, you know, I think a lot of the time like a full-on execute can sometimes be really good against that, either at A or B, even if you do it early in the round. Just get yourself into some type of a post-plant situation. But it looks like right away they're going again into a 5-man commit almost, right? Nobody watching the B side, and Liquid pushes B. They get somebody to Sunroom, and if they don't hit it quick, if you're NRG, it's going to be a very, very difficult, you know, task for them.
Well, they do move in quickly, but there's players ready to resist it. That doesn't mean they're going to be able to get kills, however, as Breezy takes down Stanislaw over there on highway, trying to hold it with a UMP. Not going to end up working out too well. NRG, well, the first task is done. They get easy control of the A bomb site. No trades at all against them either. The plan will be held off for a moment, and Nitro is now being able to dip in for a couple of trades. He spotted Breezy's rifle, but missed the shot itself, and now Breezy just going off here. Standing in the open, getting 3 kills back to back to back. He's destroyed everybody on Team Liquid. Zeus has this flank working for him, but now he's been revealed. They can adjust their positions to counter that back out. He's got got a lot of utility, but not using any of it at the moment, so he just walks out in A main, and it's Breezy to find the ace there, and easy pickings against Team Liquid. Very ballsy stuff from him, and it works out great.
Yeah, and if you look at what NRG did, they did exactly what I said, right? They went straight into an execute, and it really caught Liquid off guard because they have that double op setup, and anytime you're in a retake scenario with that double op setup, as Bree is just phenomenal, you know, just gunfire or gunfight ability by him. He's really, really composed whenever he aims, and generally doesn't miss very many bullets. Kind of takes his time a lot of the time, and he's very composed as a CS player.
So, now back to the default setup for NRG, since Breezy has himself quite an impressive round there. But Lee swinging over top, finds that first one, and immediately locks on to the second one. Marky and Daps both gone down. The bomb, thankfully, hasn't been spotted, but still, they're going to be able to read it, basically, that it was a default setup off of that more than likely. Peter is trying to op-shot through this to hopefully catch the players that were boosting up, but it's not going to work out. They have been denied A control because of this, though, and they're free to push in through there. So a good 75, to 80% of the map is now under the control of Team Liquid.
Yeah, not only that, but they're still boosted up. Zeus's close middle does a lot of damage to Breeze, and Nitro's already flanking A main, so this is looking great for Liquid.
JDM holding, grabs another kill in mid, brings it down to 2 now for the NRG side, both being split. Fugly found a free path into the B-bomb site, but he didn't have the bomb with him, and speaking of which, it's just gone down. Fugly with an interesting kill there, just spinning around real quick and finds Stanislaw up on top of those pallets there, so he's able to take him down, but getting anything else beyond this is where it's going to get tough, of course. As he moves into this garage, Nitro will be waiting. He won't be peeked, however, so the bomb is free if he wants it. Walks back in and burns himself. So that's one way to end the round, as Nitro will close it out, and Team Liquid will be within 1 of tying this again. Yeah,
Liquid just boosts the Liege up. He gets 2 MP9 kills on unsuspecting Marky and Daps over on the boost. Really nice headshot, and Daps just with, I think, a Tech 9 there doesn't have much of a chance. It's such a difficult shot when somebody's like right above you like that, because you can't really like pre-aim any type of headshot angle. So it's very, very difficult. And now NRG put onto another save, and I think NRG went up 5-0. Am I right here, Blue? Yeah. They went up 5-0 right away, and the past 6 rounds only able to win 1 and losing an extremely important round. That round was one of those rounds that's gonna, change the tides this whole half. Whoever won that was gonna go out to a big lead, forcing the other person on a save.
JDM called out early in mid here, but thankfully it's just pistols still for the guys on NRG. They weren't able to catch him, and now Nitro's just going off. 2 quick kills as they try to move in for highway control. One has been able to get himself behind the shed at the very least. That's Fugly, but he still has to deal with players in mid, specifically Zeus here, who will get dinked, taken down, but he did trade one more before he went down. The Liege on the A site helping out Nitro, and as Daps tries to maneuver his way through the vents there in an attempt to find a secret plan into B, it's not going to work out. Stan will be waiting in the checkers room and just shut him down to allow for the tie to come in. 6-all now between both teams.
Yeah, 6-all to both teams. Still a double op setup on this Liquid squad as Nitro holds down the highway from that box. The troubling thing sometimes when you're at that box is that you sometimes back up too much and then someone flies outdoor and you're actually out in the open. But Nitro's a bit too smart for that, and there was nobody door anyways. Just a small side note though, as Stan gets very aggressive middle, they pre-molly it, and now Zeus is getting right above Stan, so they have a little bit of a stack and then they pop flash in. That was very, very clever by them. I like that a lot, and NRG going straight for 5A once again.
They're going to try to execute in here pretty quickly. It's a very passive on the hold from Team Liquid as well. A Liege over here on Highway, and Nitro with the sight, not playing up to the forklift position or anything like that, which means a Liege going to have to back up to support Nitro very quickly. And he actually finds someone with that deeper shot, but 3 kills already in the favor of Team Liquid here. It's down to Fugly. He sneaks in that 1 kill on Nitro, but that's it. The entire hit gets shut down immediately. 3 kills for a Liege, and now Team Liquid will take the lead.
Yeah, and weird off by them. I think PTR maybe bought right away or something like that, and then the others didn't. I'm not sure exactly what that was, because one of them did have an AK. But the thing that I talk about sometimes is as NRG actually goes for a double op setup as well. Daps being their secondary opper, which I wasn't expecting. Looking at their lineup, I actually don't see like a person who really wants to op or be like a secondary op. So I guess Daps is the one that's going to take control and do that. But not typical that you see a double op setup on this, cash T side. Door pick against oppers, though, sometimes this could be really tough. This is a very easy kill by Nitro if he really wants to, be around the highway or anything like that. Luckily for them, he's not opping it, so Pete might be able to fight some type of a rifler here if Elijah decides to peek.
Yeah, and Alish still sitting up on top of there right now, waiting for his chance to try and find a kill. He's just out of reach for Stan as he's sitting behind those toxic barrels. Peter again looking for his route out into the site, but nothing is safe right now for Peter to peek against. As Alish also sits in there. Daps, in the meantime, has claimed the first kill closer towards B as the CT's tried to get a bit aggressive here. And Alish himself goes hunting now down below that jump up position. He's able to find Peter, looking for a second player inside. If there should be one, he's kept himself quiet, so no confirmation on Breezy's position just yet. But Daps as well, hoping he can find a second as he still has Zeus sitting in that one and done corner.
Yeah, he did pick off, you know, JDM trying to get really aggressive as we see where his gun is. And look at Liquid. Mid-round adaptation, they double push towards middle. Nitro says, hey, I'm going to be fine at A. If they come out, I'll at least get one kill. Now this kill is going to be big.
And as Daps moves in, he immediately finds Zeus in the position, but Alish was able to move in and stop the rotation on Breezy, which means they get that mid control back very quickly. They're going to know in a second, obviously, this is going over, and not only this too, but Daps got aggressive in a tree room, and Nitro was able to spot him from long range, way over there from the truck approach. So it goes into the favor of Team Liquid, 3v2 on the retake itself. A nade against Marky brings him down to 61 HP, so he's also injured. These Ts don't have anything to hold off the site with. They've got 2 flashbangs to themselves. The smokes are just starting now to dissipate, which means they have a free path in, and they can use whatever they have as well. They still got a Molotov to try and throw one position here. Marky gets hit by a flashbang on the way back up. Fugly holds for one, but he's traded back out, and now it's all Marky swinging in, but he can't find the kills. Stan will find both on the retake, and it'll be Liquid again, picking up an 8th round.
Yeah, as soon as Fugly dies there, they pretty much know the other guy's the planner and is going to be in sight. So they're able to 2v1 him there. And if you notice what they did is Nitro had about 15 HP, and even though he had an op, he just went in first because he knew he was probably going to die. And then that way his teammates are able to easily trade off his death. They know exactly where that player is and then bring it into some type of a 2v1. So they flash sight, Nitro runs in, he dies, they get the trade, then they're able to 2v1 and collapse on Marky in the site. NRG now, you know, winning 1 out of the past 9 rounds, I believe it was. Set up quick crisscross smoke, I think it was, you know, just trying to do something at middle to take some type of control.
So NRG themselves on this last round, again, as you said, moving in for very fast mid control, or at least an attempt at that, as Fugly is out and they have the smoke wall to allow them in. If they want to try to go for a B play, that's obviously going to be their easiest option at this point, considering the control across the map they do have. Trying to get highway control still a little bit iffy with the smoke setup and whatnot, but they should be fading in a second, and we're going to find out it's actually clean. They've just split it 3-2 across the map on the Team Liquid side, with Stan being able to move in between. Alish even going into aiming in there too to see if he can find anyone amongst that smoke. Won't be caught, as they're all being pretty passive on that T side, with the exception of those out in mid right now, just holding in the mid garage. Daps waiting outside of A main itself, and then you have Marky sitting at the entrance to the B hall. So Snowmake trying to make a decision as Breezy's pushed up to the white box, and again, Stan not being one to actually move out. He's again going to shift his position. He was sitting at truck about 30 seconds ago. Obviously, we just saw him inside of the Z connector, and now he's pushed himself all the way up to heaven, expecting this to be a B play, which again is the correct read too. NRG does seem to be aligning into that as their bomb shifts into those B halls. Only 40 seconds on the clock. There won't be enough time to change this up when they do go for this commitment, as they're going to lose a lot of players in the process, more than likely, again, due to this setup. But Stanislav needs to recommit right now. They hear the vents, they hear the drop. They should definitely know that the play is coming into here, and in the corner, it's Zeus lining up 2 kills immediately, looking for a 3rd in the mini pit, although the smoke's in the way. So he does get traded on that regard, and JDM as well destroyed. But now here's Stanislav, plenty of time to recommit up top there. This goes 3v2 once again in the favor of Team Liquid. Fugly and Peter looking for the clutch out here, as Fugly's going to hide in the backside, although he seems that he's going to get the most of the aggression still from this CT side, as he has to hold off the vents, where potentially 2 players from Team Liquid are going to be moving in a retake for in a second, and he still has to watch out for those hulls too. Stan, though, may end up being his first target. He spotted it, but he goes down, and now it's all on Peter with the op. 1v3. Time's getting low, though, so these CTs need to move in, but oh! That shot from Peter misses, and now they know exactly where he is. They've got him down at 9 HP, and Nurture's going to finish the job with an up shot through the box. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is going to close out the first half here. It's been an exciting one indeed. Unfortunately, NRG throwing away a huge 5-0 start to this one. We're going to have to see if they can recover it in the second half here on Cash, coming up in just a few moments.
ESL Pro League is brought to you in part by Logitech G, Pay Safeguard, Mountain Dew League, and ESEA.
And welcome back once again, guys. For any of you that are just joining us, it's Team Liquid versus NRG here at the ESL Pro League, just closing out the first half. Team Liquid swinging a comeback after starting off a little bit slow. They're down 0-5 and managed to make it 9-6 at the end of the half. Their days. How did we see such a phenomenal turnaround so quickly in the favor of Team Liquid?
Well, after that very first gun round, they lost Pistol, then they lost the first gun round, they lost the following anti-eco. They started doing like CT rounds, CT side aggression, pushing A main. We saw JDM around the door. They started, taking calculated risks in order to gain information. And from there, they saw what NRG was doing, and everybody rotated properly, throwing the proper nades to really support their teammates. And that was like the big key. Even though the rounds were close, Liquid always had that one extra guy when they needed it in order to close out the round. And then finally winning that big round when I think it was like 5-6 or something, where Elige got boosted, got those 2 kills, kind of put them on an eco. And then from there, Liquid, the mid-round rotations were just one step ahead of NRG, and their early round aggression was always successful.
Well, it's time for Team Liquid to take a stab at the T side here, as Nitro's going to have some fun early on playing with Marky here, back over by the squeaky door itself. Again, no commitment yet. The bomb is in an interesting position, actually, sitting way over there outside of T spawn next to JDM at the moment, so he'll be grouping up to grab it if they do decide to execute onto A. It's not that usual retake setup we started to see become very common a couple months ago from NRG either, as you do tend to expect those pretty quick A rushes in a lot of these games. In fact, they've just gone for a default set at this time, 2-1-2 across the map. And they wait to see what Team Liquid's going to throw at them first, at which point now, with the time getting lower, the bomb being retrieved by JDM, it does look like they are going inside of the B halls to possibly execute here, although they still have kept Zeus with a smoke, along with a Molotov, I should mention here as well. So maybe trying to throw it in that direction and fake it a little bit here, and it seems to be working, at least with regards to the mid player there. Daps is going to shift up, still expecting to see the aggression. We can see them shuffling a little bit, but the A commitment is yet to be seen either. And finally, Breezy spots it. Peter and him trying to hold this one off, but it seems like the kills are going to go by the way of Team Liquid. JDM and Nitro both racking them up with Peter only finding one. And now Daps trying to move in quickly to assert himself back over here inside of the checkers room. But again, it's all uncertain as all of a sudden Team Liquid swung in and they weren't really prepared for it. Now Elige trying to knock out Daps inside of here, though that's a little bit hesitant. He swings out, gets the headshot midair. He's looking for Buckley as well, although having some trouble executing him, so the trade will roll in from there as Marky finally shuts down Elige. Elige did pick up the 1 kill on a Fugly before going down, however, so it is on Marky in a 1v3. He's trying to sneak into this site, but the guy in teammate is going to be able to rack up quite a bit of damage on him. Nice tap, second one as well. One more to go, although down at 16 HP. JDM will finish the job before that gets out of hand, but we almost saw an incredible clutch from Marky.
Yeah, a little bit of a over-aggression, I think, by Liquid when he's coming out of that heaven. You don't need to peek at all until he actually hits the ground. When you wait until he hits the ground, if you just spot him and then you all peek, he's dead to rights. There's nothing he can do about it. Instead, he's almost able to take that, but, Liquid, again, they just kind of group up towards B. You see people who are jumping. They're doing the right things. Breezy misplays it a little bit. He doesn't get any type of early info. He actually gives up that peeker's advantage, that advantage that he has with that CT long-range USP at the start of the round, and then PTR isn't able to get that nade off, and, they just end up swarming him in the checkers. But one thing you'll notice when you watch good teams play, and I consider Liquid a very good team, especially now with Stanislaw, is that from that CT side, any type of little advantage they get, even if it's just something like one person is on the box peeking A main and they know A main is clear, they could usually bring that into a round victory by having that one extra guy there, over when they hit, having that quicker rotation. Things like that, those tiny little advantages are what can win them rounds because of how good they are.
Well, we've got Breezy's going to be challenged here in a moment. Unfortunately, catches the aggression a little bit too late. Stan, though, sneaking back in, remaining very quiet until he gets himself to that C position, is able to find another kill. Zeus executing Fugly. Okay, we're seeing some of these guys get lit up. Finally, Marky gets a kill on a Stan, but it's a little bit too late here now as it's down to a 4v1, and Marky's pretty disconnected from the rest of this action. He's been able to retrieve himself an SMG, and more than likely he's just going to either retreat fully or line up for a couple exits if he can get them. As overall, this is going to be an 11th from Team Liquid, most certainly. Yeah, and I mean, Bree's positioning there, it's lucky that he even, was able to do any damage, because generally speaking, when you're right under the vents like that, before they come out of the vents, good teams, again,
Liquid's a good team. They usually pop flash right there, right where he's looking. And he's lucky he even did any damage. Like, positioning like that is generally not going to be successful against a team like Liquid. Like, right there, usually the guy Sunroom throws a flash underneath the vents, and then bam, that guy's just, there's nothing he could do. He's always going to die without doing any damage. So positioning like that is really working against you when you're NRG. You know, and now they're in a full eco, and again, what is this? They've lost 12 out of the last 13 rounds.
Yeah. So we do see Liquid, Zeus specifically, very early on here trying to assert dominance over towards mid. We do have quite a few players from the NRG side potentially able to peek into that, though, so they will have to be a bit cautious. We actually saw basically this exact same thing potentially happening in the last half as well. And Team Liquid were on the CT side, although they were a lot more aggressive with the way that they proceeded to try and hold that mid-control. Liege is actually going to be free to throw that Molotov into the corner. Marky's going to go out, and that's basically a guaranteed kill for Liege. The rest are going to try to funnel out as well, but he still has the high ground here, having a little bit of trouble figuring out which target he actually wants to prioritize, so he eventually is taken out by Daps, but now Zeus, if he wants to, he can swing back in and try to finish these guys off. Well, they're going to be up close. He's down to 7 HP now. Daps actually found a second kill onto JDM, so it actually is a little bit dodgy here, as they now have to go back, retrieve the bomb outside of A main, and then take it through the V halls. But as he's gone outside here, in theory, someone could have taken control back inside of that garage, so he has to be a little bit careful. And now, well, it's going to be Daps shifting out. He drops Zeus, and that's the bomb gone down. So we'll turn into a 3v2 here. Nitro getting hit with a Molotov to the face, down at 50 HP. He's not able to chase Daps down. The one really good thing that Team Liquid still has going for them, obviously, is the very low HP on pretty much everybody from NRG right now. But they're also a little bit low themselves. They now just have to play this really, really cautiously. And after initially having that B control, they now have to swing back in with only 30 seconds on the clock to retake it. Thankfully, the only one they'll actually have to kill, I think, in re-getting this B-bomb site is going to be Peter, and he's working with a P250, but no, Peter gets the better angle out of Nitro, takes him down, and now it's just on Stanislaw. They spotted that play. That was the bomb, too. Stan's going to grab the kill. He should have had that second one, but no, he didn't stick around for the peek from Tree Room. He's going to just run back and save the AKs. There's no time left. NRG are going to be able to upset in this round.
No, not just an upset. All USPs at 1 P250 on NRG, and that's the round they kind of break the streak with, right? You know, a round like that. So, you know, they end up, they don't really get any guns out of it. I think they get like 1-7 or something like that as a Legion battling over middle. You actually expect him to get more. Goes to his left, and they all swarm him from highway. But NRG gets a little bit of a boost to their economy, but not necessarily their boost to gain. It was more like Liquid loses it. Usually, you're going to have to lose 2 gun rounds in a row to be forced on a save, as Zeus just gets nailed through the wall by PTR. Normally, you're going to get 2 gun rounds in, right? If the CTs are buying off that 4th round before you have to save. But right now, if Liquid loses this, they're definitely going to be eco. So that makes it a lot easier on NRG, just having to win 1 in a row in order to put Liquid on a save.
And the guys on NRG playing full retake over towards A right now, expecting the hit to come from this direction as they only really focus on the highway here. They may have to change that in a second, though, as Team Liquid are getting ready to pressure into the bomb site. But this is only really for show here, as we can see the bomb sitting outside of the garage right now. They still have that kind of default setup, and where they're not committing really towards either one, but as they do prepare to move it inside, it looks like the bomb is going to be grouping up with the A main players and getting prepared to push out there. Again, though, that take on the A site itself will be fairly easy to get, as you only have Fugly and potentially Marky to try and resist things and help out with the actual take. The rest are still going to have to rotate, and NRG is even calling on this too, since there's been no other aggression to the B site, besides that little bit of a spray, and I think 1 or 2 grenades that got tossed into the site before. Out they go. JDM is dinked, but he returns the favor onto Fugly, bringing him down to 8 HP. They're struggling to actually get themselves out, but there's Stanislaw. After he got that highway control, there was no resistance in the middle area here. We did see Peter trading on a Nitro, but Stan's able to trade that one. Takes Peter back down. It goes 4v3 here. Stan still has to hold off a lot, though, and unfortunately doesn't have a whole lot of cover to do it. Breezy moves in, takes him back down. Legion in an attempt to retreat in A main. It's brought down to about 58 HP. So we see NRG moving back in. It's a very slow amount of control, but they are getting it back. They're getting low on time, though, and they don't actually have a whole lot of utilities. They need to get this started here if they want to get them back in and be able to defuse that bomb. In they go. Breezy, first up to bat here, jumps in, and actually great adjustment, but JDM swung out from quad. Nobody accounted for him. He's looking for his opponent there. Breezy's going to grab that second kill, so it's all onto a Liege, but he's holding such a good angle against these players, gets both kills back to back, and destroys the retake. NRG, they're not going to fight around this time, and Liquid keep to get themselves going. 12-7 will become the score.
Yeah, well, Fugly is, and do you see the difference, right? This is the difference. Liquid, when they made an adjustment to play like a retake A, a lot of the time it was like a mid-round adjustment when they you know, gathered information. They saw there was no A presence. Then they were like, all right, there's 0 A presence at the start. You know, now let's go into like a retake A type of setup. But, you know, in NRG's case, they just did it right off the bat. And then they decide late in the round, hey, let's actually hold A and put Fugly on the site with 0 utility. So if there was any type of like a molly take at A or anything like that, there's nothing Fugly's going to be able to do out of it, right? He's just sitting default. If they come out of door with 1 pop flash, he's going to die almost every single time, right? So just like the small differences in strategy there are actually making a gigantic, you know, impact on this game.
The guys from NRG, again, just trying to overwhelm mid a little bit here to see if they can grab any additional kills. They have found Zeus. Stan does look like he wants to challenge it, even though that smoke rolls out. He's actually shot on the cross again, so down to 15 HP after everything is said and done. Obviously, though, with just these two being in mid, very easy for the guys on Team Liquid to roll into the B bomb site, get easy control here, and that is where most of the killing is going to stop here for NRG. Now, Fugly picks up an AK. If he wants to position himself in an exit spot, he may be able to surprise and find 1 or 2 more kills, but beyond that, I don't think they're actually going to go for this retake, and it will be the 13th from Team Liquid.
Yeah, and 13-7, and it's just looking like Liquid is performing extremely well, and that round that NRG won actually put him into, you know, not just an eco, but it's like they won that round, right, with a bunch of USPs, but they weren't able to pick up a bunch of guns, so it actually reset their economy. And then when they lose this round, you know, the round before, it actually puts them into kind of a crappy situation just because they're down so many rounds already. Now we're going to see 13-7 right now, and NRG is going to get a decent buy, but it's nothing to write home about. You know, they might be able to get an op if Daps wants to trade PTR, but it's nothing crazy. They're not going to have a lot of utility, and I think Cash is one of the maps where utility can really help. I mean, especially with any type of early aggression, you could smoke the back of a main or molly it and kind of isolate the guy behind the box and things like that. I think utility is very important, so they understand that. They're going to opt to save. They're going to let Liquid potentially get on to 14 rounds here. Fugly does have AK half armor though, so he's going to really try to stop, you know, something happening from here. They push 3 towards door, there's 4 towards A, 1 guy playing passive B, so they do have a good setup to win this round.
And Zeus moving himself back in there. He'll find Peter. Unfortunately, there's a nade in hand when Fugly re-peeks the door itself, but Fugly re-peeks the door against the rifle this time. So Elijah's going to be there to counter-trade the trade. Elijah swinging out, though. Beautiful spray control. Finishes off the job against Marky and Breezy. That's the whole site under their control. And for Daps, well, unfortunately, he only has a 5-7, which means Elijah's going to roll right through and pick up an easy 4th.
Yeah, I don't know why they didn't invest more into that round. You know, even if they got half armor and whatnot, they still would have been able to, you know, buy quite a lot this round. So I'm a bit surprised that they didn't invest a little bit more, you know, in order to help Fugly out. But, you know, they read it right for A stack, but, you know, just Fugly only able to get 1 there. He peeks the door. Should have let them commit, should have let his teammates take contact, and then start peeking. If that guy Forklifts got involved, he took a shot, and then Fugly started peeking. Maybe they could have won that round. Instead, NRG down 14-7. JDM with the op, Liquid setting up, and looks like they're going to try maybe like a crisscross mid take or something like that. Just 3 towards middle. I think they pushed the B main smoke down as Nitro's working it. He's going to look for a kill right now against Breeze and Daps at B.
He just misses chances. He had the player on the left side peek back out. He recommits though, and Nitro with a swing around grabs the frag. Unfortunately, fails to account for the second player up on the site itself. Breezy will catch the easy trade. This just ends up going down into a 4v4, and for the most part now, Team Liquid hurling over here towards the A-bomb site to potentially recommit here in a second. Stan will be going out towards mid to get a little bit of control here, at the very least deploying the smoke. So we'll wait and see what they do decide to do here, as they are going for the setup.
Conducting them all right now. Blue is saying, you smoke this, you smoke this, you smoke this. I'm going to smoke this, then this is going to happen. Like, he's literally, that's exactly what he's doing. So they're going to set up a nice take here, 2 outdoors. Zeus is going to have bomb. I think he's going to bring a door as well. So it's going to be some type of a door play. But they do have 2 towards A. So this could get tricky, and Marky is boosted, so we'll see if they check it.
So there's the highway smoke first off there from Stan. The rest are moving in. No utility being deployed, but they failed to account for the Shroud boost up. There's Marky with a 1-2. Peter's also found a 3rd from further back, so it's down to Stan now. 30 seconds left to make a play. A 1v4. This is not looking likely, obviously, for him. If he even decides to go for it here, as he is creeping back up. Again, down to 20 now. Odds of him actually getting this bomb down alone are going to be very low, not even accounting for the fact that he still actually has to clutch out in the post plant. So in he goes. It does look like he is going to try to commit for it here. Spots Fugly, misses the chance though, and is now going back into the corner, the kind of the pocket here in the lockers to hopefully keep himself alive. The timer's run down, but they know where he is. They know he's in A main somewhere. However, it doesn't look like they're going to directly peek him, so he'll be able to stay alive at the end of the round here. He'll keep the AK in check, obviously. And NRG will be able to get themselves an 8th. But Team Liquid aren't going to worry about that one too much. They still have a decent amount of cash flow to work with here. And for players like Zeus, they can drop him again in this one as they're still up by about 6 rounds here.
And he was just trying to hurt their economy there. He really knew he wasn't going to win the round, but they just didn't peek. They played very, very disciplined. So he just went back and was like, all right, you know, it's not that big of a deal. Now Nitro, based off what he saw it be, he's confident in trying to work it with more players. They think, hey, he's probably saying, hey, I went through that B main smoke. I was able to kill one, and then the other guy was out in the open to kill me. If I have more teammates there, we probably win this round pretty easily. So we'll see if they go towards that, right? Working that B main smoke maybe with 2 or 3. Looks like they call it off, though. Just, you know, more of a default now. They left door push open, though, so they're going to have to be worried about that. And that's kind of going to be in the back of their minds right now as they group back up towards maybe mid or some type of an A take.
We do have the rest of Team Liquid now kind of getting prepped for it. It looked like a second ago they were going to try to deploy some smokes to potentially allow for mid controls. JDM up on the boost this time. Again, waiting on the timer a little bit here as they're still basically in the default setup as we have wasted about half of the time away. Still waiting to see where exactly Liquid are going to take this. Smokes, though, are moving out towards mid, which should allow JDM to peek in a second and see if he can find anything. And in the meantime, you've got a bit of a creep going on here from Elysian, though. That's going to be spotted by Daps. Good patient play from him. He finds that kill, swings back out, although that's a bit over-aggressive, so Zeus is going to be able to trade that one. Brings it down to a 4v4. The rest of NRG are just splitting up across the sites 2 for 2, but Fugly is going to diverge from the pack over on B and instead commit himself into Z right now. Definitely the right expectation, but however, look at where the bomb is now moving into the B halls. Well, originally this was looking likely to move in towards A, and it still may be some aggression on A as you've got Stanislaw up against the shed right now. He's going to try to move himself in, cut off the rotators if he can. He's certainly heard Marky on the other edge of this one, and as he swings in, cuts that player off, but they're just now moving into this B bomb site here, and they still have Breezy to eliminate. 8 seconds on the clock. Breezy's going to be able to find one. Fugly as well. JDM trading out 1, 5 seconds left. He can't do any more than that. Fugly's found the kill. Stan trading out 1, but the time is going to run out. And again, NRG will win it via the timer, but this time Stan finishes the execution job, shuts down Peter, and allows for some more economical damage to roll in.
Yeah, I'm wondering if Liquid is going to buy here, but that was a nice peek by Fugly to see him coming from the vents, and as soon as they saw that, they instantly rotated every single person on their team. And even though Stanislaw was able to get that lurk, the actual site take was basically a 3v3.
So, since Team Liquid unfortunately aren't going to have enough cash flow to be able to roll into it this time, they're just going to go for pistol upgrades for the most part. No utility sitting behind it, so Stan's the big player on the field. We're looking to him to do as much damage as possible. And the rest of the team, unfortunately, not expecting anything that great, but we'll see if they can overwhelm in mid. Obviously, with the utility they did carry into this round. Smoke does get redeployed. Dap still hanging around in the corner. Goes for the reload, though, as we do have a boost player pushing into him, although that works to kind of bait him out a little bit. Fugly chiming in for the second here. And in the meantime, over on the A-bomb site, well, Nitro thought he was being sneaky until Marky spots him and puts a very swift end to that lurk. It's down to just 2 now from Team Liquid. It does include Stanislaw on the AK, but with basically 0 damage being done to everybody except for Daps, it's going to be very, very hard to allow them to really make anything else happen here. So more than likely we should expect a 10th for NRG unless there's a lot of mistakes made on these CTs here, specifically in the route over to the B bomb site, as you still only have Breezy sitting there to defend it. That's probably the weakest point right now, although at the moment it doesn't necessarily look like Team Liquid are going to push in towards it. Well, there you go. There's Daps with 1 more. Hiding in the cover here. Stan's able to sneak back in for 1 pickup at least. But again, 40 seconds. They know exactly where he is. They've got him isolated in mid very, very nicely too. Player in Z can hold him out. There's a player on highways while preventing him from moving in from there. I'm sure they have coverage if he tries to go for the vents, and they're also lurking around those B halls as they have Breezy sitting in the useless room right now to prevent him from going anywhere else on this map. There we go. Breezy will shut down Stan, and it will be NRG now getting themselves into double digits and 4 rounds away from tying it up against Team Liquid overall here.
Yeah, 14-10. Liquid gonna have a fully bought round now. The thing that I want you guys to see that Marky was able, when he was able to get that kill, if you notice when he was walking around the map, around that A site, not once did he run, right? He was walking the entire time. So that way when Nitro was trying to lurk on him, even though Marky was the only one there, it's very hard to catch him off guard and to know where he is, right? Because he's just walking the entire time, checking forklift, walking back to check door push, and things like that.
So we do have Team Liquid again going for that mid-aggression here. It's completely absent from NRG, though, as we take a look at their players here. They have a couple sitting outside of Z, but overall, there's really nobody positioned here to actually prevent that mid-control from happening. So they're going to be able to swing in essentially for free here, but Breezy is waiting on this side. He's got a smoke supporting him on the left side from the main hall push, and then he's got, as well, the vents blocked off a little bit there too. So Marky is going to be able to find Stan. I think that was the bomb gone down as well. Yes, it was. So now the bomb is under the control of the CT's. NRG looking good, and they can rotate into this one, obviously, to accommodate for it. There's going to be a storm rolling in the way of Marky, but he's got close quarters combat, and he's got the SMG as well to work with here. That nade will bring him down to 30. Peter's here, though, and despite the full blind flashbang he's hit with, he takes down a leash. He's got another angle if he wants to take it, and there you go. Dips in for the second kill. He didn't lose two more, but Peter again holding on, gets the third, and then Daps, he'll finish the job against Nitro.
Yeah, and now that NRG has, their economy going, it seems like they're, doing a little bit of what Liquid did to them, right? That early round door aggression there. Mid-round adaptations really working out for them well. Slight peaks, like towards the vents, towards B, really allowing them to win those rounds. Now Liquid down to Tech 9s, a few half armors, bomb on Nitro with Tech 9 full armor, and they're just going to have one smoke to work with, so it looks like it's going to be some type of a B play here.
Peter again waiting for it as it does roll in. He caught the push and he can certainly hear it, but he's got to duck into the corner here. There's no way he can resist that. JDM does take him down, but Breezy slowly tapping these players away. You've got Daps coming on the backside too. He's going to be able to claim two more. It's down to Stanislaw now. No hope for him at all as he's lost the bomb and everything. So NRG, quick reactions there that could have gotten messy, but thankfully the players from NRG were quick on the draw to rotate into that one. And now Stanislaw again is basically just going to run the time down here, see if he can do some damage, but it will almost certainly be a 12th for NRG.
Yeah, it definitely will be, and one pop flash is going to take Sand out if they decide to flash and let Daps peek from the checker's entrance. And if you see Breeze playing there, I mean, like, headshot angle is like one of those spots that he was just born to play because of how composed he is, how well he is to lock onto heads and then trace his target. And we even saw a little bit of it right there. So Tech 9s sometimes are really headshot. The headshot angle on Cash at B is like so good against Tech 9s. It kind of sucks against Deagles because sometimes somebody could just walk in and 1D you if the peeking isn't timed right by you. But Tech 9s is like, first off, it's pretty inaccurate with the Tech 9 because you're always running and moving, right? And then you're still going to need 2 headshots to kill him, So it's really, really nice against Tech 9s. And any type of a Tech 9 rush play. So now 14-12. Liquid on another fully bought round though. They have everything they want, utility-wise, off on JDM, and NRG setting up in a 1-2-2 off the bat. We got BTR and Fugly going towards middle. Fugly making his way towards highway to meet up with Marky 8A, and a quick mid takes coming out from Liquid.
Well, Zeus having that full control pushes a very fast move in and disallow any of the CTs from doing damage to them here towards middle. So they've got that checked away pretty quickly, but there is a heavy B stack if they are still going to go for the plan, which appears they're looking towards right now, which is going to be that vent play, diving down into B. You've got up to 3 players that will be able to watch out for that when they do move in towards it. Whereas the A defense is obviously going to be a lot weaker. One that was playing towards Heaven does end up moving away, I think, to watch out for a Z split in case they want to do something really crazy and try to go for that. But it seems all quiet on the farm for Team Liquid right now, as their last player has moved in over there towards Checkers, or apologies, towards Squeaky, excuse me. So they may end up deciding to go for highway control instead. As Peter, though, waits, he certainly, I think, spotted that player jumping up, but the Molly's going to send him back. It's not worth it to stick around in this case. The boost up, preparing for an A main hit. This is not where the pressure's going to be coming from, though. Marky needs to adjust right now. Spots it, but it's far too late. Fugly able to trade that one back out, but it's Stan again, along with the Liege. They are shutting this down very, very quickly, as the only 2 that remain here for the CT side are going to be the B players. Breezy, not a trade to be seen from him, and for Daps, well, certainly going to have to save now, as Liquid will finally get themselves up to map point.
Yeah, and they stayed on that boost way too long. That boost is good to find that one kill if it's like A main or door, but as soon as highway presence is a real threat, you need to abandon that right away. You can't be staying on that boosted A site whenever highways come in. So that's going to be a lesson learned from NRG and a mistake that hopefully they won't make again, because once highway comes, there's nowhere for your guys to go, right? Even if you get that kill at A main, what about the guy door? And then 3 coming towards highway. What if there's 2 A main? You get that 1 kill, then 2 guys come from highway. They're going to be able to pinch on you. Then you all of a sudden are like running around like cockroaches, after you get that first kill, who watches what, right? Not everything can be accounted for.
So we go into what could be the last round here finally, and Immediately we can see some of the bad effects of NRG still having to scrap through a couple of these rounds. They'll still get themselves the full buy, but they have to toss the guns around a little bit here. So after this one, if they survive it, even if they take, even if they lose a couple of players here, that's going to be unfortunate, as the rebuys are going to be rough for them, with them being at such a low amount here. We can see from Team Liquid, though, again, they're back up to the full buy, of course, having just claimed that previous round, and they go back to the slow style early on here. They're not going to move in very fast for any sort of control here, just hanging outside. And what, again, has pretty much become your basic default setup here. They do have, I believe that's Nitro hanging over there in the squeaky hallway. A couple more position outside of the mid garage, and the boost up position, and Stan kind of just being the watchdog over here outside of the B halls.
Yeah, and PTR, even though he got mollied out of his spot underneath the vents, you see he's like standing strong there. He's not letting them over-rotate. He's not calling for a rotate or anything like that. And that's a small advantage that NRG can definitely use to win this round.
Well, it does look like they may start this one off with some mid-control again, but there's two players here from NRG that will look to resist that, and Dap's getting aggressive inside of A main there too. Zeus manages to keep himself hidden there behind the box, so no damage done to him. As again, that timer gets lower, and Team Liquid do need to get prepared to move in here some point soon. The bomb shifting over there into the squeaky hall as Nitro gets ready to move in, and the rest of the team, well, they are certainly going to move in for some mid-control. They're still going to have to worry about Breezy back in Z. If he wants to late deploy here and cut them off as they're trying to move in for Highway, that could certainly be a bad thing for them as they do move in. And speaking of which, well, here we go. With 30 seconds on the clock, they finally going to commit. Fugly tries to hold, but misses his opportunity to do so. Now it's Daps over here behind the forklift, though. Swings it for one mark. He's got himself a second. The trades continue. It goes 1v2, though, in the favor of the guys from NRG, as JDM is going to be left alone here against Peter and Breezy. Not a whole lot of time left, but he does have the sight if he can take down Breezy himself. Unfortunately, misses that upshot. That's buying a lot of room for these CTs, and he tries to swing on Highway, so it's not going to work out. Peter claims the round, finishes things off, and allows for NRG to get to 13.
Yeah, and I gotta say, man, NRG is really coming out and putting together like a pretty impressive comeback right now. When they lost, 12 out of those 13 rounds, I really thought, hey, Liquid is just too much for them. They're just too good. They're too, well drilled. But now NRG is really fighting back. They're showing a lot here, and now Liquid, if they lose this round, they're gonna have $2,400 going into that final 30th round right now. As Daps is in the vent, he has one player in CT spawn, one player Z, and two players towards A. So a slight variation off a default. And Liquid looking like they're going to do some type of a fake. Maybe they're going to go towards A, they're going to throw their smokes, get JDM out of the door, and then they're going to bring bomb towards B. So Daps needs to not over-rotate, but these guys at Sunroom are actually moving back. So it looks like they might have a change of thought, change of plans here.
And it does look like most of them are going to shuffle into A main or out through the garage itself into mid. There's Daps chiming in for one. He's found Stanislaw. Fugly with a second here, too. It's not looking good for Team Liquid here as they do try to finally send their guys out into A. Even that, though, goes for one as the bomb was dropped in mid, so they have a very hesitant amount of control as Liege one-taps Fugly to take him down. There's Peter again, though, who's shown himself so far to be a highlight player for NRG in this matchup. Chimes in for another kill.
He had the bomb, though. Yep. He had the bomb, and that's the most important thing to note. And now Nitro's in a very, very tough spot after Liege hits that incredible one-tap.
Now Nitro, we'll see if he can do anything about this. Trying to see if he can catch Peter on the peak. But he's hanging back there, safely behind the red box. Breezy, the same thing. 30 seconds for Nitro himself. He's basically just got to pull off this 1v2 right here, since they're keeping close watch on the bomb itself, and there's a very low chance. Actually, with the smoke, he may be able to kind of dip in there and escape with it, but they could also go directly on top of the red box. He's not even focusing on the bomb, though. He runs in to grab it, but as he attempts to run back out, Breezy is going to be up on top of that boost, as mentioned previously. He'll finish the job. It'll be a team ace for NRG, and they'll be one round away from taking this into overtime.
Yeah, that was sick by them for that boost. I thought it might have ended up, hurting them. Because the boost was going to come too early, and then Nitro would see his legs, as he was walking up, and then get the kill. But they waited for the perfect time. They waited until Nitro was committed to getting the bomb. Then he went on the red vent. So it was really cool to see by them, as it looks like they're just going to do some type of a crisscross B take, I think, pretty early on in the round. But B aggression is coming out with Daft right now, running to Sunroom as fast as he can. PTR is able to trade it and get one. And now Breeze running through middle, kills a Liege. So 2v4, kills going all across the map. And now Stanislaw and the bomb carrier and Zeus are just in the useless room, gonna have to just pull out a miracle here in order to avoid overtime.
Both being stuck essentially here in mid, which they'll get control of for free. One of the few good things they do have going for them is that wherever they go, it's going to be isolated down to a 2v2. NRG didn't bank on one of these two bomb sites itself. They're just going to be playing it separated across the map, as now Team Liquid do move in, specifically Stanislaw peeking into Highway. Spots Marky playing it out there, but turning his back against the peak. Oh, he just barely manages to sneak away inside of Z there. But Fugly did still manage to chip off a lot of his HP, bringing him down to 37 now. And Zeus still sits way in the back over there, outside of the vent entryway. Spots Marky again on the jump, I think, but they'll just end up giving up this mid control, and I think heading into the vents. This time's getting a little bit low, and they do need to try and make a play. So the B guys, they'll have to get ready. Peter sitting on the backside, Breezy waiting in case they decided to Z-split, but no, they're just going to go directly inside here and try to re-execute the Molotov going in the back. That's the wrong side, though. Peter chimes in for 1 of 2 kills needed to take this to OT, and Breezy will finish the job. There we go. It is going to be tied up 15-15, and this will go, indeed, to overtime.
Yeah, and if you saw Marky there doing those jump peaks, that's actually like the sign of someone who knows how to win, 4v2s and whatnot. You want to get information, you want to get it early, you want to relay that information to your team, and in those types of scenarios where it's 2v4 and whatnot, when he sees that player in Z, and that guy's not able to sneak a kill or anything like that, that really gives you a huge advantage into winning the round. Because that was really good by him. He didn't stop jump spotting, was able to get that info.
And again, we can see the scores now at the end of regulation time. The leaders, I mean, overall across the board, right? You look at Team Liquid specifically. Besides Elige, it's pretty even for most of their guys. Zeus hanging behind a little bit there, but that's kind of to be expected. And it's kind of a similar story on the NRG roster too.
Yeah, PTR leading the way for NRG, and Elige seemingly like always lately leading the way for Liquid at +10, 28 and 18. Zeus, to be expected, he hasn't been playing, competitively too much, just been coaching kind of. He probably doesn't have too many hours of CS played, so kind of putting him out the scoreboard for Liquid. But having said that, I mean, even if they did have Pimps in Denmark, so he probably wouldn't have been able to do too much better just because he'd have, 150, 180 ping or whatever.
Yeah, SK is also, I think, going to be dealing with that for the next couple of weeks, too, as they're boot camping over there. So their matches, I imagine, will be a little bit complex considering that, since they're all boot camping over in Germany right now. So I'll have to play with that. That'll be fun, of course, but...
That'll be rough for them. I think, I mean, it's still early on in the season. I bet if they were... planning this, they probably should have gotten some of their matches played a little bit earlier. I don't know if EPL still allows you to do that, but maybe, get a couple matches done earlier, and then you could worry about the other matches later on or something like that. But it is only 2 weeks. Maybe they could just avoid those matches and then play them later. I think it was either last season or the season before that SK had like 12 matches behind everyone. So
yeah.
I'm not sure if people want that to happen again, but we are going live. First round of overtime. Breeze going heaven, throwing a B main counter smoke, flashing instantly as they're basically putting Daps toward the vents again. He gets onto the roof. This is a very, very good counter if anybody peeks, on boost or even below him. And Daps has actually been pretty impressive. He's coming out with a lot of very, very crucial kills for NRG. When he was on Optic, he was just not fragging. Okay, he just was not fragging at all. He gets mollied out of the vents, drops down checkers instantly. Elige going checking a main, sees that it's clear. And this is going to just be a full A take.
Elige starting to move it, but Marky, he's got a perfect flashbang to help him, but no, Elige puts a stop to that before he can actually get into kills. Now Fugly behind the smoke, so he can't see anything either. He's going to swing in, gets one, but again, Elige is there for the trade out. So it goes 4v2 now as both the B players have to rotate themselves over here for the CT side. Breezy and Daps, well, they're here from the truck angle, but they can't see anything at all. Team Liquid's already ducked into their post-plant positions. Bomb hasn't even gone down yet, just as a note of record here. They need to reapply that smoke, but it'll go onto the floor now. And Daps and Breezy know they don't have a hope in the world of retaking this, so they're just going to let Liquid get the initial round here in OT.
Yeah, and they really don't. Fugly needing to make a play a little bit earlier. PDR was just under too much pressure there. There's too many angles for him to watch. Fugly was probably waiting for somebody to go top red or something like that. Nobody did. Had he pushed through the smoke a little bit earlier, though, he might have been able to save PTR's life. He gets a kill, maybe Fugly gets the next one, and it could have went NRG's way, or at least put it into like a 2v3 or a 2v2 or something manageable. Instead, Liquid takes the first round very convincingly. They, just do a nice A take. They molly out the vents, which is gonna, a lot of the time make people think you're going towards B a little bit. Take away that information from middle, and then just do a full A exec with those wall smokes, those wrap smokes that we saw were so successful for him. And Elige getting three of the kills, by the way. Only kills on the board were by Elige. NRG also a little bit of a mistake. If that flash came just a millisecond earlier, I think Marky probably gets 1 or 2 there. Or maybe even if his spray was just a little, more on point.
Well, we do see NRG. Thankfully with those saves, that should put the money situation a little bit more at ease. If they do lose out on the second one, is that still something that has to be dealt with the 10K start instead of the 16K start money. But for the rest of Liquid, again, they sit at the very edge of these B halls right now. 2 players as well sitting outside of A, mainly these squeaky halls. I don't know if they're going to move in to try and fake and then have the other 3 try to push towards B, but there's an even spread across the map anyway, so they will try to be prepared for this one as Flashbangs should allow Marky to get aggressive inside of the squeak halls. They don't spot anything though. They know there's no presence in here. Are they going to detect the actual fake? Again, there's no one moving off of the A site just yet. Finally, you do see that a little bit more of a shift, but it's down towards mid. It's not necessarily very important to be bomb site. Daps, though, gets the first spot of it and even chains together a second kill as he falls back behind the generator push. He'll be safe here for now. Molotov will bounce, though, so he's going to have to jump back up, but again, it doesn't encompass the platform at all, so he's free to get himself up behind the trip stack. This will allow for control from Elige specifically, but he's destroyed by Daps again. He's up to 3 kills now. Breezy finally getting a piece of the action here up on the platform as he shuts down JDM, and with Nitro being the last man standing in a 1v5, not looking likely, so more than likely we'll see this tied again.
Yeah, nobody rotated off NRG at B. I mean, Daps and Breeze just sat there waiting. And again, man, Daps continues to impress. On Optic, he was always bottom of the scoreboard. He was widely criticized for, just not pulling his own weight. And now going up against the guy that actually replaced him on Optic, Stanislaw. I believe he replaced him, did he?
Yeah, because it was...
Or did they get somebody else and then Stanislaw went to the game leader?
Originally, Stan was cut and they kept Daps, but then they flipped that decision 2 weeks later.
Oh, when they picked up Tarek.
Yeah, when they picked up Tarek.
Okay, so I guess he kind of replaced him, kind of didn't. Yeah, it's complicated, right? It's a complicated relationship.
2 weeks for Optic.
But anyways, Daps is impressing. Like I said, was widely criticized for not pulling his own weight, not hitting his shots, not able to get the necessary frags in order to really be on a very, very successful team. But in this match, I gotta say, he has come up big. He's come up and gotten a lot of very, very important frags, especially around those vents area on CT side. And then there we just saw it towards B.
Fugly going to shift himself into A main here too. That's going to push JDM back. If he actually just well, definitely not going to do it now. As the Molotov and smoke combo rolls in there. NRG again, they'll be allowed to control this zone for the next 30 seconds or so. Fugly specifically being the one pushed up against it. The rest of Team Liquid actually, still looking like they want to try and go for an A play here. They haven't tried to push themselves over to the B halls. They have 0 presence there right now. If NRG wanted to push back in and investigate it, they would be allowed to do so for free. That seems to be changing a little bit more now towards mid, however, as we do see presence shifting in that direction for the Team Liquid players. 3 of their guys has gotten into control here towards mid, with the other 2, again, completely ignoring A main at this point, but virtually just sending everybody else in towards Squeaky. But look at this from Breezy now, going back out on the perfect timing, spotted 2. There's 1, going for the second, but the spray's not necessarily there, so Elige will be able to find the trade on that one, but they spotted the play, so they can rotate the B guys way early because of this one now. Fugly's got a hold over here in the NBK corner, catches 1, and there's no support for the immediate trade. Nitro's still going to get it. Elige got a kill as well, but Marky's here with the truck angle. He's going to chain 2 together, and it's down to Elige. 1 for him, spots the second player. This is now down to a 1v1. He's got time to pick up the bomb and put it onto the ground, but with Peter already being this close, he's got to be very, very cautious. Just goes for the full commitment, though. Throws that thing onto the ground. Peter holds back, does not decide to immediately challenge. In fact, he picks up the up, looking for the shot with it. Elige saw him pulling it out a second ago here, and this will allow Peter control of the area behind the red, the site itself. But Elige, he gets the angle, and he will shut it down to allow for Team Liquid to control the scoreline going out of the first half.
Yeah, another big clutch by Elige, just comes up huge. PTR, a bit of a fail there. I mean, he definitely should have been able to trade off his first guy missing those shots, and I think he got in his head a little bit when he missed that shot when Elige, killed his teammate and he peeked and didn't hit that during that spray, as Fugly was on the fence, gets that 1 kill coming out of the door. And the reason I say that is because he pulled out his pistol in a situation where the guy had 100 health, right? And you generally don't do that if you're, confident in your op, right? Especially at an angle like that, where it was basically like a pixel angle. So I think, after he missed that shot, that very, very important shot, a little bit of a misfortunate series of events for NRG because Breeze basically did the same. Usually Breeze is so steady, you don't generally see that out of him. Maybe nerves got the better of him because after that first kill, transferring onto that second kill was very, very shaky. And unfortunately for him, the person he didn't kill was Elige, who has pretty high sensitivity. Actually, I'm not sure if he still does, but he used to have extremely high sensitivity. I'm assuming it still is pretty high, but you know, just whips around and just kills him pretty quickly. I don't even think he took a point of damage, and then ended up getting the 2v1 kill as well, the 2v1 clutch.
So we've got NRG pretty much moving all of their players, with the exception of Fugly, into the B halls right from the beginning of the round. Not even going to attempt to toy around with mid or anything like that. Just sending everybody right over here from the get-go. As they do move in, again, they've got control up until the wraparound point where there could be, in theory, aggression from Team Liquid. They won't spot it this time. Just mollying off the checkers room, holding it to the corner, getting prepared to just go for this and seeing if it will end up working out for themselves. They move in. Liquid aren't going to respond to it. They're, for the most part, behind smoke walls and whatnot, so it's NRG with control, but it's going to be really fast. Retakes coming in as Shadow gets pegged with the smoke there a little bit. Still, it's Breezy to get the kill as JDM's not able to quickly adjust as he pushes in through that smoke. What? Zeus just rolls in there. He's going to be able to find one. Very quickly traded out by Marky, and again, Marky and Breeze, the tag team right now, that's handling the whole situation. The other two are sitting way back over there at the edge of the B halls watching for flanks, and it's down to Nitro now. They spot him so quickly, and Breezy again getting yet another kill for himself here. Shuts down Nitro and allows for NRG to tie this up once more now.
Yeah, good round by them. I think that was just like a full B take. And Liquid, though, you know, with their setup as JDM peaks from heaven, very dangerous for him to do. I wonder if B-Main was just runs through this mode. Lucky to get one kill. So 17-17, Liquid, you know, now they go back to their like early round adaptation. They're going to push A-Main right away. Nitro does not get the kill onto Marky. I'm very surprised Marky got that. And now NRG immediately takes mid control, understands that it's open. And they aren't a 3v4, but they do have positioning right now. And Liquid needs to understand that mid is open and not let these guys, you know, wreak havoc around here and kill somebody in the side or anything like that. Yeah,
Zeus and Stan are still fully plastered over there into B right now with no sign of moving off of it anytime soon. In fact, I think Stan is sitting inside of checkers right now, so he's really committed himself down to the bottom of that one. But NRG are taking a bit of a timeout here. They're sitting back and they're thinking about which way they actually want to send the swords. I mean, it's even either way. We've just now seen a bit more of a rotate off of the A-bomb side a little bit, but it's not fully committed. At least just kind of shifting in between. If he needs to move to B quickly, he can certainly do that now. But NRG do decide at the end of the day to resolve themselves over here into the B bomb sites, or the B halls, I should say, as they will eventually try to push this up towards the sites. Stan's still sitting in that back corner over there, so he could do massive damage if they don't account for that one. But at the same time, 3 Molotovs. In theory, someone has got to try and toss towards it there to try and get him out safely so that they can get the easy kill. And there you go. There's the molly. That should send Stan out in a second. He tries to delay it, but it's double molly. If he can just wait that one out. Fugly, Zeus though up on top, gets 2 for the trade. So it ends up going 1v2 at the end of the day. Fugly versus the world here, specifically against JDM and Elige. For a second, he even wanted to push himself through the smoke through Tree Room, but no, just mollies off towards heaven. He'll be able to guarantee himself the plan if he wants to here, but again, we're in overtime now. The money's not really a problem for these T's at the moment. He needs to win it, but now, as time is getting a little bit low, he commits it, spots JDM on the right side, but he was already prepared in that angle because he hadn't peeked it previously, so it's an easy kill for him and an easy 18th round for Team Liquid.
Yeah, and unlucky for Stanislaw, I always think that's usually a safe bet to be able to, you know, shoot at least one person on the side being back checkers in any type of a broken round. What I mean by a broken round is, you know, not 5v5 CS. When it's 3v3, 4v4, you know, 4v3 or something like that, you're usually good for 1 or 2 kills there. But they smartly Molotov it out, and, you know, he gets punished. But luckily for Liquid, man, Zeus steps up in a huge way getting those 2 kills. I almost guarantee you if he only gets 1 kill there, they probably end up losing like that 2v2. It's a really, really difficult retake. Now Liquid on game point, 18-17, and NRG backs against the wall. We'll see what they come up with here.
NRG will have to try to take this to double OT now to try and still close out on this map if they want to go for it here. The player's position still in the back, and Nitro, he's been allowed to sneak himself in with this smoke here, waiting for the peek on Peter, just playing it at the very edge of it, trying to give away as little of his own body as possible, and it works out. Sinks the headshot on the Marky, promptly falling back to avoid getting flanked upon there from the squeaky position, as he is kind of alone here right now. You've got Nitro working with Elige at this point, as Elige will just move up there and take the position of his former teammate. But the rest of NRG are frozen. They haven't reacted to this kill at all. They've still got Breezy sitting outside or inside of the squeaky hall, but beyond this, 2 very cautiously right at the edge of A main.
Fugly's still in T-spawn, watching that B push. Picks back up the AK. Daps getting legged or something like that, but is able to get a kill, puts down to 17 HP. And now we see a little bit of a rotation come from Stan towards A. They still have two people towards A, though, being Lige and Nitro. So this is still going to be a tough take. But they have one door, 3A main. They're probably going to try to flash Breeze into the site. Or maybe not, because Breeze is actually going to smoke off quad right here.
And with that, he should be able to get himself in here in a moment. The Molotov, though, does get tossed over there from the forklift player. That's Elige helping out with that one a little bit. And Elige, though, doesn't realize he's running through the Molotov down at 7 when he exits, but Elige is actually going to end up burning Daps after he finds the trade kill onto Elige. Nitro out, well, he sees the flames over his head, but it doesn't burn him just yet. He's inside. It's a really weird Molotov, but somehow he's still alive right now. Nitro's found that kill. Fugly trades. Nitro's so low, gets the one. He can't get that second one. No way he's able to recover off of that one. And it ends up down at the 1v1. Zeus will have to clutch for Team Liquid if they want to close it out here. Otherwise, we're going to double OT, and he just has a measly little UMP. We've seen this gun do damage at the major, though, and it may be able to clutch out the map for Team Liquid here. Zeus up on top, thinks he can do it, but no, it's Peter again to tie us at 18-18 and take us to a double OT.
Wow, double overtime. Are you kidding me? So, but that was really smart by PTR, man, because everybody jumps on that. Everybody does. So he actually anticipated that and basically, you know, he didn't pre-fire him because he had not, but he looked right towards him, knew what he was doing before Zeus even decided to do it. So doesn't even opt to pick up the AK. Zeus doesn't on his right, and ends up, you know, losing that round to PDR. Yeah, that Molotov was so weird though, man. That literally looked like it landed on his head.
It almost it had a diamond shape sort of, or a triangle shape to where he was positioned. So for some reason, where he was initially standing never got burned, but everything around him did. It was really weird.
Yeah, and I think if you're... See, this is where it gets tough, right? Because I think the way Cash and the way you kind of have to play Cash now, especially on CT side, because T's are just so good at mauling things off when it comes to takes and 5v5 CS, is that you need to take risks and you need to do early round aggression and mid-round adaptation like we commonly see Liquid do. But once you've done a lot of that, you know, and you've consistently done it over and over, it's kind of like you've ran through your playbook, right? It's almost like a T side.
Well, now we can see JDM, gets the early spot into a player peeking, but he just barely edges it out, and he misses that shot, which is now going to send him back into the site. These two from NRG will go, and peekaboo for JDM, but it's a good buy, as he can't find a target to shoot at. Stan is able to trade, but it's another pickup for Fugly here on the NRG side of things. They're sending these two CTs back in tree room. Nitro still has a position up on top in heaven right now, and Molly, well, he had a chance to find Marky in the cross, but just wasn't ready for it there. So Marky swings back in. The flashbang is going to try to catch out the players that are sitting inside of checkers rather unsuccessfully. And again, the Molotov just barely encompasses Marky, and Breezy bails at his teammate big time there. Marky's able to survive off of that when they drop back in. Nitro, do you realize there's a guy right there? Yeah, he does. He goes for the no-scope. Stan with a second, Marky with a trade, Nitro with yet another kill. So it's Peter to clutch again, but he's stuck in the halls right now, and he's stuck behind a smoke too. He's going to fully commit to that one. Peter rolling in 2-1. There's no way he's getting up towards it in time. The defuse rolls in. He misses the opportunity to get the kill, but still the round is Liquid's.
Wow. I mean, the bomb's planted not in a spot that he could even, you know, have any chance of winning the round at, and he's over by Sunroom, and it just takes way too long to get towards the bomb, and his teammates, you know, on NRG, if your PTR just collapse over around the site. You do not expect your teammates to die that quickly. They threw that B main smoke down. I think they might have even smoked checkers too, and Nitro gets a ridiculous shot onto Breeze inside that smoke. And now again, JDM opting towards checkers. He loves this spot, and Breeze just shows bomb, dies, but JDM re-peaks for whatever reason and gives up that huge advantage that they had.
He dropped the bomb, but they can't even really properly rotate at the moment due to Daps still being over there inside of the garage. He already picks up 1 kill here. You have Daps waiting in this position essentially, and Zeus as well on the CT side to prevent him from moving back out, crushing any attempt at a retake in their direction. But when push comes to shove, it's Daps that peeks it again against Zeus, and he wins the battle there too. Zeus goes down. There's only 2 CTs remaining for the Team Liquid side. Both are sitting outside of either heaven or the tree room. Since they're, in terms of a retake, they don't have a lot of diverse angles to work with there. Peter already shutting down Stan, and Nitro, unfortunately, because they lost the first 2, both of these rounds, I should say, Economy's going to be a little bit weak, so he does have to try and fall back and save this gun if he can. Picks up that kill. He's still trying to hit his opponent through the door there as he moves back up. He may actually recommit towards this now. Peter is a little bit pushed back, as we can see, but there's still not really a good chance. And now he's found from the backside. He almost looked like he was going to get that kill, but Daps does still close out on the action and allows for NRG to tie us up again at 19 rounds.
Yep, and this is where I get confused. Third round of overtime right now, right? I always end up forgetting. But yeah, so this is the third round of the first half of overtime. Liquid doesn't save their guns, so look at what their buy is. They have 2 M4s and 2 5.7s, but they got a Zeus on Zeus. So maybe he can make that work for him. And they've gone towards B pretty early, twice in a row. JDM kind of failed a bit there. Got 1 kill in those 2 rounds. And now Nitro very aggressive over by A main. There's another odd-looking smoke grenade. I'm wondering, that's the second time they've done that smoke. I'm assuming it's by design at this point.
Well, we've got the door being swung open there, and Nitro specifically tried to move in to catch the kill. He's looking through the door to see if he can connect on it, but he got Breezy down to 34 HP, but the actual frag itself not to be found. Breezy just promptly falls back further down the halls, and it's more than likely going to end up recommitting in a second here, as the rest of NRG is still sitting inside of A main or up on top of that boost. They've got Fugly again watching for a B halls push, but almost certainly this is going to lead into A with the current formation of players unless they make a last-second decision to swing it the other way. In the meantime, over on Team Liquid, again, they've got 3 guys positioned on the site ready for this hit. Smokes and Wada can still get in the way, specifically for the truck player, but no, he's going to be moving away now, so it's down to 2 here. NRG keeping themselves very, very quiet. They obviously don't know what's sitting on that site just yet, but thankfully, because they've kept themselves so quiet, a lot of the pressure shifted towards mid, and there is a good reason behind this, though, as there's 2 players over here from the T side getting ready to push in here as well. Fugly specifically up on top of the white box, trying to move himself in. Zeus tries to swing out, and we do see Fugly racking up both of those kills. Zeus and Stan both end up going down, but look at Unleash up on top. They don't account for him at all. He gets 2 kills, and the third now tries to go for that 4th, but it's not meant to happen, and JDM misses an opportunity to edge out on the Daps there just before the end of it. So he's stuck in Z. He does retrieve a UMP, but still 1v2, basically 0 damage done to either one of those Ts. He's got to hope for a miracle here that he can swing in. Thankfully, NRG will at the very least give him control of highway and truck to a certain degree. They're going to kind of let him out here. JDM continuing to take these duels. Does lose a little bit of health in that situation as Daps is brought down to 46 HP. The Molotov's in the way, but he does have an angle on the right that he can swing in through. Gets that kill, moves in. The last one sitting at A main for him now as Fugly's pushed back a little bit. The bomb in the open, but not as much as he needs as he does swing out there. Taps the bomb. Hasn't gotten the peek from Fugly just yet. He's expecting it from the far right side, but it's not meant to be. JDM finding a rifle to play with at least now, and again, Fugly remaining so restrained that it works out beautifully for him as he closes out the 1v1 and allows for NRG to hold control heading into the second half of OOT, 20-19.
What can you say, who is that died there? I think it was Nitro over by the fence. Over peaks a little bit. He should have let Unleash take contact a little bit more there. Going into the second round of overtime, Fugly closes out that round with a nice 4K. It was very composed, like you said, onto the Olaf spot, as we call it, at A main. Just, you know, now that they added the wires, you know, to see if people are diffusing,
yeah,
it made it so much better to like do things like jiggle peaks and whatnot. As what's going on here, Blue?
I'm assuming we just have to reconnect to the server really quickly.
The server needs a QC.
What?
A QC?
You just learned what that acronym means today, and you're just using it all over the place.
Yeah, QC, I like it. QC means quality check. The production staff constantly has to QC Blue's work.
What the heck?
Because it's so sloppily done at times. Never
just throw me into the bus.
Never happens to me. I've never gotten QC'd before.
Well, you know, as we know.
I'm just messing around.
But yeah, I mean, this game remains very close, and it just doesn't really seem like anybody can get a huge advantage, despite the fact that we saw Liquid winning, like, you know, pretty much the entire second quarter of the regulation time there, as we saw them really.
I know, it looked like Liquid was just gonna stomp them after that 5-0, you know, run by NRG at the start of the game, and then just push came to shove, and rounds just kept going back and forth and back and forth. NRG actually made a great comeback on their T side, you know, winning that one round with like 4 USPs and whatnot. Lige just takes a middle peak right away, and beautifully done there.
We'll be back in just a moment, folks. Some technical difficulties obviously to work through there. We have to quality check the server connection.
QC.
Yeah, QC, sorry.
We have no time for...
We have no time for actually pronouncing things.
Actually, we have a lot of time since the server
the server disconnected.
Yeah.
So I mean, again, just looking at like some of the individual performances here on both sides. We didn't even mention as well coming out of the first overtime itself, but Elige was like monstrous in terms of his overall fragging power. He was hitting at like 38 and 22 or something like that at the end of the first overtime. So it seems like though, if you look at the rest of the team, there wasn't really much impact from anyone else in the roster. It almost seems like it's he alone that's doing most of the work and is really keeping Liquid in a lot of these rounds right now.
Yeah, Nitro had a couple of the rounds, but Stan's been very quiet. And in their first, I think it was like 4 matches, he really was taking over and playing really, really well, especially just frag-wise, clutching, back and forth, tons of different rounds. And now he's a little bit more quiet, and I think that's hurting Liquid a lot. And a lot of that might be because they're using Zeus instead of Pimp, and Zeus might not just be fitting into Pimp's roles like 1-to-1, right? So it makes everything a little bit more confusing, and it makes everybody else a little bit more uncomfortable, right? Because obviously Pimp and Zeus don't have the same skill set; they're very different players, right? So it just kind of makes everybody a little bit uneasy and not comfortable. So that might be why. Having said that, it seems like Elige has performed so well on LAN, but online he usually is just like another player. Like honestly, he's usually not Liquid's best player online or anything like that. He's usually just their best player on LAN, and it's just way better on LAN than he is online. But now it seems like he's playing online like he does on LAN, and just like carrying this Liquid team at times and putting up these huge numbers.
All right, guys. Well, we are still working on fixing things with the GoTV really quickly, but while we are doing that, we're going to send things over to a short break, so stick around. As soon as we have things fixed, we'll be coming back to you with the conclusion of this match.
it's important to be part of the Pro League because it's sort of the premier league for all the North American pro teams, and also it gives you the opportunity to make the LAN finals and play against some of EU's best as well.
With the sponsor Mountain Dew, can be really good for up-and-coming players. It feels amazing to have this opportunity, and I never take it for granted, that's for sure.
Get your team apparel now at shop.eslgaming.com.
We play for the legacy. We play for the prestige. We play for the glory. We play for one goal.
Whoa, he got out! He'll go down. Is in the form of his life. He was a
All right, well, welcome back again, ladies and gentlemen. We're here at the ESL Pro League. We do apologize, of course, for the delay with this match. A couple problems with the server popping up, which we're working on getting resolved very, very shortly. Still here with Dazed, of course, and while we are waiting for that match to resume, we're going to take a look at some replays and see how we got to the current seed. You didn't miss anything as far as I'm aware. We're still 20-19 currently, but let's take a look at some of the action. Dazed, take us through this.
I'm a little disappointed. I was hoping it was going to be the replay of Sick doing his Mountain Dew League promo again. That's my favorite replay that we see all the time. Quite a few anti-eco kills so far. Beautiful anti-eco kills. What do you want me to take us through, bro?
Just take us through this match. What happened in this match? We're going through it.
Okay.
Fast forward.
For those of you that haven't been here, all right, NRG went up 5-0. Then they lost 12 out of the next like 13 rounds or something like that, right? It was like 12-6 maybe, and NRG came back on their CT side and forced overtime, and then overtime has just been back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. So that's pretty much what you missed.
Yeah, in overtime, it seems like nobody can really hold a solid lead. Liquid, we've been seeing Elige obviously take like huge steps forward. He's still been fragging out so far in this map. Nitro showing up here and there, but for the most part, it's definitely been his show. Meanwhile, the NRG side, it seems actually pretty even. A lot of the guys carrying their weight. I think Peter was more of a highlight player, especially at the beginning. In the first 5 rounds, he went like 8-0 or something like that right at the start.
Yeah, he was 9-1 at the start.
Yeah, so he had a huge beginning to this map himself, and then kind of fell off a little bit near the middle. But in OT and specifically towards the end of it, I think he clutched out to take this in double OT and had quite a few impacts towards the end of regulation time too. So we've been seeing some good stuff from both sides, just that nobody can really take the edge right now and actually close out.
Yeah, Fugly had a big round, that nice 4K on the 1v1 versus at the end versus JDM, I think it was, when he was at the OWASP position in A main. That was a big round by him. And it's overtime now, and this is like where like every team has seen everything that the other team has, right? Everybody knows, like they've seen their set strats, right? They've seen their fakes. They've seen their CT side setups. They've kind of seen it all. So this is kind of where the gloves come off. And a lot of the time you see, you know, people take it upon themselves to just say, as an individual, hey, I can kill this guy at B. Hey, I could go outdoor and kill this guy at A. If you're CT side, I could PK main and take control and kill this guy. You know, things like that. That's really where a lot of the time this type of an overtime strategy turns into. And as of now, it's anybody's ball game. I can't remember which side everybody's on right now, though. I think Liquid's going to be on the T side, down 1 round for the second half of OT. But this has been a pretty long break. So I don't know. I actually think that probably favors NRG just because they are up that 1 round. They only need 1 round to at least tie it, and they're really going to be able to analyze, you know, what Liquid has been doing, get a really good setup, maybe show something different if they need to. But yeah, this has been a really good game so far.
Yeah, and obviously Liquid's going to have to come into this one, hopefully resetting themselves a little bit. Thankfully, it's right at the beginning of a half as far as I'm aware, so things should be nice and clean with regards to that one. And it does look like that the resets now, guys, that I think we are finally going live with it. So we should be able to jump completely in game here and see between these two teams which is finally going to be able to take the edge. NRG currently leading the way at 20 rounds. Liquid, however, right behind them at 19. So we see those investments rolling. And, well, let's take a look and see which team is going to start off with the advantage here in the second half of overtime. Number 2. Excuse me, I had to like finish that sentence there. But yeah, so it's overtime number 2, second half as we go into it right now. Potential for the third overtime, obviously, if it ties at 21, or the team that gets up to 22 first will just outright win it. So let's take a look and see how things are going to begin. Again, your fairly standard setup here for Team Liquid right at the beginning of it, and it's a pretty similar start as well for the NRG side. Nothing too crazy happening here.
Yeah, full default right now. One guy is in like T-spawn, or is that like a decoy or something like that?
No,
oh, there he is. He's setting up the Z-smoke. Okay. I was a little bit curious what the heck he's up to over there.
So he'll line that up over towards Z and get that one out towards mid if they want to move in for control here, which again, they've got JDM boosted up towards it right now. Molotovs and whatnot starting to get tossed over here too. Still a minute on the clock, of course, but you do need to move in for a little bit of control, and for the most part, NRG are going to be absent when it comes to defending mid. They will allow it to be pretty much taken for free. Holding Peter and Z to a certain degree, obviously not very actively at all, just keeping him in the backside there. But beyond that, it's really only been Elige that's been deployed here. The rest of the guys from Team Liquid have pushed themselves into the B halls. They're getting prepared for a big execute in here. In fact, well, there they go. Molotov's one up, bouncing back in on that platform. Breezy, there's nowhere safe for him. He's sent to the mini pit, ducking back down, and this is going to be rough now as he's really the only one in this bomb site. Peter has to rotate. He does catch a trade, so it goes 2 for 1 initially on the push inside. Breezy, the only one that's shot, but oh, Nitro loses his speed on the jump there. That's an easy shot for Peter to sink. He is hit with a Molotov, so he is forced to kind of fall back here temporarily, but still, this goes 2v4 for the retake. Daps is already on the cusp of a flank against JDM. Another free kill for the guys on the CT side here. Elige now alone. He's got 1, but he needs 3 more. There's the first, trying to go for the second and fully committing himself to the spray, but that leads to his own death as Peter's able to get the read and finish the job to allow for NRG to get up to match point.
Yeah, a very winnable round by Liquid, but Nitro messes up his jump. He tried to like bunny hop, I think, maybe towards, you know, getting the plant, but instead just jumps basically straight up like he's on a pogo stick or something like that, and straight up into the air, and Peter gets the easiest shot on him right here. And that really made the round very easy for NRG to win. If that doesn't happen, all of a sudden Nitro plants the bomb, Elige is able to watch A main. That means JDM could focus on the flank. I think Liquid probably would have won that round. Now NRG on game point, 19 to 21. They set up in another default setup, and another thing they did is they pop flashed A main right when that B exec was happening. So even though Breeze went 1 for 1, the rotate was very, very fast. They got there quickly. PTR was heaven. He was able to get 1 kill and stay alive. Daps was on a quick flank. So Liquid had an opportunity, but a couple slight mistakes, not going quite early enough, hurt them as well.
Well, we are seeing the guys, again, here hanging back, and Peter obviously just going off on Team Liquid as they do try to move out for that mid control. Already 2 kills in his advantage. That's both Zeus and Stan have gone down. Again, not necessarily the biggest fraggers, but it's still impacting itself. Elish himself positioning back over here in mid, pushed up against the white box itself. So he's the one that has control here, but actually getting up to the site is where things are going to prove to be a lot more difficult. Marky does wait on the edge, and actually nobody's watching out for this right now, so it's a free pickup for Elish on the way up here. He's going to start it up. It doesn't account for Fugly. Back behind the Toxic Barrels, immediately traded out. Down to 2 now for the guys on Team Liquid. Thankfully, the defenses on A are still very weak. They are in the process of rotating more back up, but it's very defensive right now, and they're basically just going to let them into playing for a full retake, essentially. And they have Breezy working his way in on a flank through the squeaky hallway. He'll be in position in about 10 seconds or so, but there's JDM now with the op. He's going to be able to find 1 pickup. It goes 2v3. Nitro still very securely held back over here from the quad position 2, trying to help out, and he sees that door open, so to prevent Breezy from just a free path outside. He waits for it, but no, Breezy, he's going to grab that kill. JDM hits Breezy through the wall, though, brings him down to 35 HP. They're on the way to the defuse. The Molotov's going to go way too deep, and Breezy will catch that kill against JDM, which will finally shut things down, ladies and gentlemen. 22-19 is going to be the final scoreline, and it'll be NRG that ended up taking the match at the end of the day.
Yeah, I'm a bit surprised, man. I mean, I thought that was going to definitely go Liquid's way, especially how well they started, you know, out after that 5-0 deficit, just rolling. I mean, NRG had a great comeback there, able to force it into overtime, and then just a lot of really good individual plays, I think, in a lot of rounds. Big 4Ks coming up from individuals there. Pete going at the end, getting it 2 entries right away, and really closing out well.
All right, guys, so we are going to send things back over to the analysis desk to break down what happened there in map number 1. Guys, take it away.
Thank you very much, Blue. Now, breaking down map 1, what did happen there? I mean, if you're Liquid, you're wondering. You were looking pretty good. You kind of shut down NRG for a long period of time, and then the beast awakens in the second half, and NRG kind of took over. It's unexpected how well that Team NRG was playing. I thought Team Liquid would actually take this one pretty, easily, but after Team NRG was up 5-0 and then started losing rounds after that, it's like, okay, yeah, Team Liquid hit their stride, they're about to hit their shots, but NRG kind of just slowed it down. They stuck it through, and they eventually won in the end. I mean, Peter had some big rounds, some clutches and everything. I mean, the whole team played well. Just some sloppy re-peaks, post-plants, but I thought NRG looked like the better team overall. Yeah, there were a few minor mistakes. Like Daze pointed out there that, one round in overtime where Nitro's trying to leap onto the site, he ends up jumping straight up in the air. It's a small mistake that has drastic repercussions. They lose the bomb. Now they have one less player. They have to push back into the site again, so there's going to be a weak spot somewhere else, and it allows the flank to come in, and the whole round crumbles off of that one kill. And it was situations like that continue to occur where Liquid would find themselves at a disadvantage because of a small mistake. Yeah, even though Zeus is playing in for Pimp, Team NRG did make, as you say, a lot of mistakes. I felt like, especially after the post-plant or lead up to the plant, they're just like lazy peeking, they're re-peeking. It's just, it felt like a lower tier kind of thing in a way, to where they shouldn't be making these kind of mistakes. It should be more of executes, or maybe they missed their shot or something. But just like random re-peaks is just, you can't do that at a high level when you have oppers and just people just hitting their shot instantly. You can't do it. All right, so we do have some replays here ready for you. In round 15, you picked this one from the pack. Why don't you tell us why? Explain what's going on. So in this round, Team NRG went back to their slow pace as Zeus. I picked this one because of the round before this, Zeus was in the same spot and he gets smashed by Team NRG, okay? And then he hides in the same spot again and he gets 2 kills. So I thought that was some nice mind games by Zeus. Hey, they can't pick me out here again, They probably won't expect me. But even though Team NRG loses this round, I find it that their slow pace worked a lot more in their favor than the fast kind of explode with nades. And so they kind of went back to their roots, and I think Nitro over-peaked, or not Nitro,
Hugly he kind of peaked too early in that post plant, and that's like one of the post plant problems that they were having, just peaking when they shouldn't have been peaking. He has a good position in B entrance, let kind of work off your opper a little bit. It was Peter that was in the bomb site, and you don't have to really, like hand over that kill so easily.
Now that was when, NRG had kind of given the game back to Liquid, but deeper into the game, round 30. NRG started to bring it back, and they're looking like they're going to, take it to OT. Explain what's going on here in round 30.
So when we go round 30, I like this round because Team NRG decided to do something a little different than their normal CT side. As you see right there, they're pushing B. You see Breezy pushing the middle, just being very aggressive on a very important round, and it pays off for them. Like they kind of mixed it up at the right time, and it caught Team Liquid completely off guard, and it was a nice round. I thought that was a pretty cool play to watch.
All right, so I have one more thing for you here. You had said that was going to be a bit of an easy game for Liquid, so I made you a gift. You were looking pretty hungry. I figured you could have a snack. So why don't you go ahead and eat your words as we get ready to jump into the next match. Now, unfortunately, because of some of the technical issues that popped up, we are not going to be seeing the second map between Liquid and NRG. We're going to be jumping into the next best of two, I guess you could say, the next two matches between CLG and LG. But we are going to throw it to a break first, and when we come back, we will have more of ESL's Season 5 of the Pro League in just a bit.